Yeah, bring back.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm
not too bad. How are you? You know, I hear that from everybody these days. Oh, it's been crazy.
For the record. I don't know whether you got it or not, I think that, he may have missed.
Yeah, I don't know how to get them. Thank you. Oh, this clock has got to be fixed. Okay, I am gonna call the Town of Berlin Board meeting in order for June 9th. Can we stand to salute the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll start with open discussion for the public. Who would like to go first? Mr. Lennon? Mayor Lennon?
Okay. Just a reminder that we are having CPR training, essentially basics of CPR, AED usage, and some other elementary first aid type things that people need to be familiar with. On Wednesday at 6 o'clock down at the Chobani Center, open to the public, free. Particularly valuable when we're scrambling to keep enough ambulances on the road and responding across the county and across the whole region. So I'm hoping that that's well attended. And I know some people say, "Oh, I had that a couple of years ago." Well, guess what? It needs to be a muscle memory. Because you never know.
If you don't use it, you lose it, so.
Right. And the time, it's a little different when your mother's not breathing.
Yeah.
Also, you have the EMS report in front of you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The last month and a half have been hard. We have had a lot of staffing issues. But I think that we are putting together a good team of adults. I will tell you that a couple of people who are not positive contributors we've learned that not those people who are not contributing positively can tend to ruin the whole situation. But I believe we've got a couple more new BLSs coming on and got a lot on an ALS, so we should be back very soon. Probably by I'm going to be conservative and say the middle of July we'll get back to either 6 or 7 days a week consistently. 7 in the morning till 11 at night. The rig is running well. We had the folks in Sherburne helped us out on that. That was down for just a couple days, and we're good. We're good there. So, like I said, it has been a challenge. The perfect storm of a lot of stuff. I don't want to get into all of it, but we're on the road back. So I appreciate the support and the faith that the town has in this. And we try to be good partners with everybody.
Good to hear. That's it? Thanks, Kate. Okay, anybody else want to speak? No? Okay. Then we'll go right into approving the monthly minutes. Can I get a motion to approve May 12th, 2025's monthly minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I need a motion to accept the monthly reports. John, second? Second. April? All in favor? Aye. Okay, David,
We want to go first?
you're on
You're
the,
going first.
you're on the top.
Well, first time for everything.
Let's roll, because we got a lot to do tonight.
Sure, I'm never on time.
Next time, you're this time.
Hi, guys. There's sun out, so we should get out of here right now. Not much. So Chenango County is going to a new CAD system. They thought it was gonna be this year, it's next year now, new radios and everything else. They're not sure they're gonna go back online, so I have to figure out some other options to get all of our information. Because they're the ones that they gave us a separate website to get onto, but it doesn't show anything. It does show pie charts and stuff like that, but that's not gonna,
Well, I think they're testing, they had to go on a road trip to test the radios.
yeah, the
Like-
radios are one thing, this is the CAD system.
Oh, but it's not the same sequence.
ties into
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
but
but
it's
it's
gonna
not,
be-
because I know we have a big radio project going.
Because they're actually gonna be going to RMS, which is different, because we use SCHIP, I'm saying.
Letters.
So we're using one system right now, there's 3 through the state. They're gonna be going to an RMS system, we could join it if we want to, when it does go up and running. But what's good about that is, then we could see everything and they could see everything. So we don't have to like bother them, we could see if the sheriffs went to a house or we would have their database as well. But that's
Down
probably
a while.
2027 or so.
Okay,
It costs more than they thought.
doesn't everything.
Yes. So we did have a resignation. He left on good terms. The reason he had to leave was he hasn't been here since October 2024. He doesn't have the time. His full-time position is very demanding, and then between that, family life, he just didn't have time. But he said if you ever something should change, he would like to be able to come back. So
Okay.
now we just submit that.
Do you guys wanna, I have this under new business. You wanna make a motion, accept his resignation now? Since we're talking about it?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept his resignation? Roy, second.
I'll second.
Sarah? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, you hand that to Doug, please, because she's got final. Okay,
And then I just have, so we have the SPCA contract. I know that we still have to send it in. I have one concern on page 7. It's in highlighted. It's under 6A.
and that's on the agenda tonight too, and I have it signed and ready,
So just
but
if
we
you,
tabled
I'll
it.
read this real quick, just this section. It said the municipality agrees to allow the Shenango SPCA to act on its behalf in collecting impound fees, redemption fees, licensure fees, and in issuing licenses. Further, the municipality, at its own expense, will provide the Shenango County SPCA all the materials it requires for dog licensing, including its license application, dog license certification, dog tags, and will replenish it at need. Now, the first question I have, and I think Deb will be able to answer this maybe better than I will, can we, as a town, even just give our licenses away to somebody else?
We
And
can-
let them do it. So that is good, because any dog we do seize, they pick it up and they never come and see that. So that would be great on that aspect.
I think that's why they put this in.
That would be great,
So what are
'cause
you thinking, 3 dog tags you're
But,
gonna send?
but before we go that far, my question is more important, is why are they really doing, I wanna know what redemption fees are, because here's my key on this whole thing. You cannot get a license unless you have vaccinations. So are they gonna say, they went to our vet and we vaccinated so we could issue the dog tags, and now here's a bill for $250 to the town? That's what I wanna clarify, that's very important to know. I mean, if they're charging the person who's picking up the dog those fees and the vaccination, that's one thing. But if it's not, then that's a concern that we should clarify before we say yes to this.
So if a dog
Yep.
does not have, if a dog gets picked up, say you guys bring one there, and the owner wants to go get their dog,
Mhm.
what they have to do right now is they have to come to us, get a license,
Right.
and pay 50 per day for as many days as it's been there, up to 5.
Okay.
And then we give them a receipt, a copy of a license, they bring that to the SPCA gives them their dog. What they're trying to cut out is if it happens
A
on, say, a
weekend.
Saturday,
Right,
and this all happens, they would do all that same stuff, but then they would send us the sheet for the license and the fees that we collect for licensing, because we have to report that
so,
to
so
the
the
state.
vaccination would be included.
So the vaccination, if that dog is picked up and is sitting at the SPCA, they can't take their dog to their own vet because they can't redeem their dog.
Right,
So it is going to have to get its vaccination at probably Pet Street is what they usually do. They send it across the road to Pet Street, and then it's the owner's responsibility.
so that's the only thing, because it doesn't say, because it says at owner's, at municipality at its own expense. So I just want to make sure that we're not paying for that.
Oh, no, the owner has to pay for it to get its rabies in
That's the
order
only
for
clarification,
them
because I just
to
don't want to
license
get
it,
a bill.
which would be the same as they would have to do the same before they can come to me to get
Yeah.
a license.
Well, I mean, I think this would be great streamlined. That was my only concern, was we're not gonna be on the hook for something for extra money. That was what I was concerned.
Pittsfield's done it with Susquehanna SPCA for years.
And there's no fees to us, to the town or village or whatever.
No, they would just send a copy of the application and the money that the town charges so that we're able to.
I mean, I think that's a great thing, long as we clarify that one.
And they'll reimburse, it says they'll
Yeah, they'll
reimburse
reimburse.
the town, okay? So, since that's on the new business, do you wanna just move and accept it? That's why we tabled it last week, so everyone could read it. I will tell you, I got an email from this person, Jennifer Olds, on my county email, that any towns that didn't submit this by the 6th, this contract's null and void. So I emailed her and said, we were discussing it tonight at the board meeting, we'll sign it and have it sent. But if there was gonna be a new contract to send it. But I think we should make a motion, pass this one, Debbie put her license, whatever she's gotta send with it, mail it to them. Because they don't have them now, right?
No.
Okay, because I signed it and dated it for today. And I emailed her and I called, but no one answered.
But we're just gonna clarify that we're not paying for the vaccination fees or whatever.
Well, I think she's pretty sure that we're not.
Yeah, but I would like it in writing.
Well, no one, this was what they sent to every town in Shenango County. So,
Because redemption fees, that's the word you used, that would be to redeem the dog, you have to pay for the vaccination. So I just want to make sure it's
but I
not.
think the redemption fees is for them to get their dog back.
Yeah, the 50 per day.
Because we're not gonna go get the dog back.
Right. My concern is that. So, I mean, I just don't want to pay money. We sign something and we go, okay. Then we start getting bills in the mail.
Well, what do you guys want to do? Because no one's gonna, no one answered the phone today.
Well, if that's what it's, as long as we know that's what everybody else is doing and how it's working out in places, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And like I
I know
said,
Susquehanna, they do very similar to the same thing.
yeah,
I know
and I
a
know
situation
that
where the person had to pay for it.
we have to send a contact list of who is our contact, and I wrote the Rome Police Department. If you need to call somebody, and I put the office, the police phone. And I said, it's the person on duty that will be the contact person.
Perfect.
So I signed it, so it might get rejected because it didn't get in by the 6th, I'm just telling you.
Oh, well, right, send it and run it.
Okay, so can I get a motion,
And make a motion.
April, and a second?
One second.
Sarah? All in favor? Aye.
I'm not comfortable about knowing that first, so.
About money.
So you're a no?
Yep.
Okay. Well, do you want us to hold it
We
back?
can we make a quick phone call tomorrow morning and ask?
I called and left a phone call today, and I
How about
emailed her
email?
last week, and I didn't get no response. Not about this, about the contract, because I'm worried that this
Deb, you want to
contract
do
is
it? I
gonna
can
be
do it. We'll call in
below.
the morning.
You can call, they have. like, really
Weird hours.
different
Some days they don't
hours,
open
yeah.
till noon
Can
or
we
something.
approve it based upon that we believe that they're gonna, the person's gonna adapt
Okay.
the fees? As long as the town doesn't have to
Pay
adapt
for-
the fees, then we will
Okay.
approve it and send it.
All right, so David, you're gonna be the,
I'll call them
Call.
Thank you.
and I'll
okay.
put it in an email.
That's the letter that they want with it, with the contact, and this is, I signed it. But like I said, this email came to every supervisor in the county, and it's past June 6th. Because I said, we tabled this, so I said, and so they said they might be sending a new contract, so that one might be altogether voided, or it might be the new one with a new date, I don't know.
Couple other quick things.
Okay,
I may have another grant for, I'm putting for another 45,000. That's before there's another grant coming out next month as well. So hopefully we hear something back on that. Still working on another grant for a vehicle that we will be able to get paid for, except for they'll pay for the vehicle, but not like the outfitting stuff like the lights and sirens. So it'll save us considerably on that. Then just, as I put out an email, June 12th is Thursday. Anybody that can make it, 10 o'clock, Chobani Center. Officer Parasol is going to be receiving a few awards. I think it's good to, and she's not one to look for a pat on the back, but she does a great job here. And I don't think I couldn't do what I do back there, but I didn't know she was out there doing what she does, so. To
And-
make it, that'd be great.
And Gates Cole High Street is.
So, yeah, so we're gonna be giving her an award. There's some, Joe Angelino, Joe Griffo's office, and High Street Gates Cole are all issuing different awards to her for her excellence here.
Okay,
We would, I don't know if it goes underneath there or not, but I'd like to be able to take out some money, like up to $100 to be able to buy some refreshments and stuff for that.
okay, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, Patty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we even need, because it's within.
It's gonna be, yeah. if you could
And I'm gonna
just-
see what I can get, of course, doing it first.
It works. Poor people.
Ladies, give it to me. Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Your doors, you heard anything on them yet?
I just talked to him.
So I talked to Mike, well, I put in several emails, several calls to him. Finally, he got back to me last week, Thursday, and I said, could you give me something for the board meeting? He's busy, he didn't get back to me, but he said the door for the garage was simple, that's just a regular door. He's waiting on Curtis, this other door for the back, because it's gotta be, solid, secure, whatever. So he said, as soon as he hears from that, he'll let us know, but he is busy. I said, I would appreciate if we could do something maybe within the next 4 weeks time frame to be able to get this all done. So, because the sidewalk and stuff, we don't want to be rolling into fall with doing it, so.
Good, thanks.
All right, thanks. Okay,
That's it.
all right, have a good night.
You too, thanks.
Jason, you're the next contestant. Good evening. Hello. Yay. Okay, we got the mining permit.
Oxford International has come to complete.
Okay,
I got this here to share. I mean, altogether, it's $39,650. For the 3 items that we put on. The contract attachment, about $34.50. Brand new is $5,500. But I must say that was bought on chips along with the Dentrack less than 10 years ago. So not 100%
Oh.
sure if we should unload it, even though it was an add-on, or was an add-on.
I don't know if we can then, because technically we gotta keep it for 10 years. So you might have to deny that one.
Yes.
Okay. And when there was another attachment too that we were gonna sell. I didn't realize that was less than 10 years old.
Yes, I did not either.
Okay,
That was my fault. Not knowing.
well, that's all right.
We didn't put the other attachment on.
Oh.
Already we could utilize it.
Okay, so we only put one on. Okay, so, I would say I would call Chips on that.
Yeah, I will reach out.
Call Chips and say, this came as an attachment with it.
Mhm.
We never use it. Is it okay if we surplus it?
Sure.
And see how that works. And if they say, no, you have to keep everything you got, then I would say you'd have to deny the purchase.
Okay.
What does everybody else think?
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
But if it was just attachment that came with the packaging, that when we bought it, they may say, if you're not gonna use it. then-
Sure. I will reach out to the rep tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Ask her about it. Bulldozer brought 29,800,
Wow,
so that's a good price, I would say.
how much was it, Jason?
29,800. But I did get a call from Sherburne supervisor this morning, and he asked if we could deny this bid and they would hire him. So
You told me,
I told him, you know, we would have-
35,000, yeah.
I told him we'd probably need a little more out of it to accommodate it, but you know, he's willing to, they have a board meeting on Wednesday. So he's
Okay.
going to bring it up.
Can you wait until Wednesday?
I think so, yeah.
Because I think you got 10, do you get 10 days or 7 days
I
after?
do believe so, yes.
Okay,
So we can allow till Wednesday to accept this one or deny it. He doesn't foresee anything wrong with them, but, you know.
I gotta,
Other neighbor, they're in need, and they didn't see.
I would just make sure that we're not gonna lose this.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, make sure there's enough time between their board meeting and whoever has interest in it.
Absolutely.
Because I would feel bad if we
Oh.
denied the person and,
Sure, yes,
but it is taxpayers' money, we wanna get the most we can get,
absolutely.
so.
Yeah. And that's what I'll bring up to him, you know. they can
I'll
go
make it an
through-
offer.
Yeah,
Sure.
We'll make one.
Yeah,
okay,
and the grid all of, are whopping $6,400. But I do, there is,
are we accepting that one?
well, there is a town, Plainfield, they came and looked at it and they are seriously interested in it if we deny it. So
Did they give you a price what they're willing
I
to
told
pay?
him, you know, we're probably looking for at least 25 out of it. So
Okay.
if you guys can come up with a good number.
I don't wanna accept 6,400
I
for
think
it,
25 is a good number. I mean, maybe go a little more if you have to for them, just to explain.
because it's another municipality.
Sure.
6,500, it's
Right.
another municipality,
Exactly.
and we know they gotta put work in it.
Right. And they do too, you know.
Right.
They know, like we're selling it as is, and they gotta
Like
put the
15,
work in it,
16,000,
Yeah. or more.
Yeah, like he said, it's, you know, piece of gold for what they got, so.
Wow.
There you go.
They, you know, it's very interesting.
Well, you get parts for it too then.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe that he could take parts off his and put.
Well, they have a different model.
Model, okay.
But, yeah, it's-
Yeah, again, the more money we get, it helps the taxpayer,
Sure.
so I'm totally, and it helps another municipality.
That's what I
It's a win-win.
It's, both of them will help other municipalities.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm-
So how do you wanna do this, all this? You wanna accept the bulldozer? So, if you don't know yet, well, then, yeah, so,
Yeah, but,
I definitely want to deny the Great All. I think we can get more
Right.
money.
Sure.
I think 6,400 is not enough for the Great All.
and I just wanted to know what we do,
Okay,
so he can get a yes on it.
I will reach out to Plainfield tomorrow, if you, what's the solid number you want me to tell them, tell them it's 30-25, and go down to, what's the minimum?
no lower than 20.
All right.
Sure, if you want, that's.
Is
I think that's fair. I
everybody?
think that's
I
fair,
That
really, I mean,
seems reasonable.
it's worth it,
Okay.
it's worth it. It's just-
Because they're gonna have to
Sure.
put another 20 or more in it, I would say. It's gonna be a little more.
We put it up in it.
Yeah.
We got shot.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so John, you want to make a motion that we deny the Great All
I'll move it.
and that he calls Plainfield to get in between 20 to 25,000 for it and to sell it to Plainfield. Okay, I need a second. Roy, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's the Great All. Okay, the bulldozer.
Again, tell me what you're thinking. Drop 29. He wants to budge off of that. And just let us know if they heard about it, you know.
In another municipality.
32,
Yeah, it's gotta come up a little bit.
That's what I told them over the phone. I said, I'm sure they're gonna want it, you know, to go through the hassle. Not harness our reputation, lost, you know, that.
Right, we don't want to hurt them, but, so, what are you saying,
32, 35.
32 to 35? Okay, so we're gonna make a motion to deny the 29.8 if the town of Sherburne,
Yes,
if the town of Sherburne is willing to pay between 32 and 35. If not,
Take it and go.
we're gonna take the 29.8, we're not gonna lose it. Okay,
So they gotta be on the move on this.
Yes, like I say, Wednesday is their board meeting. I would reach out to them in the morning and let him know, let me know as soon as he knows
okay.
if, you know, if it's a go.
And just make sure that we have that time. I don't remember how many
We have that
days.
time.
I think it's 10 days.
I think it's 10 days. And you just got those when?
Actually, it closed Friday.
Those
Okay.
Fridays, so,
That's
okay,
all right, we got through the end of the week.
okay. Okay, so John, you're making the motion
Yes.
for the back, or bulldozer to
Hold the
be
bid
held back.
until we find out, sure that they will like it.
Okay, and I need a second.
One second.
Sarah, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the attachment,
You know, probably you gotta talk to Chips.
you gotta
Yes.
talk to
Otherwise,
Chips.
we'll take it. You know.
Otherwise, sell it for the 34.50, if we're allowed. If not, okay.
We've had a whole lot.
I think they bought it and.
Then you just take something. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll already see.
So,
Time flies when you're having fun.
Maybe.
Okay,
all right.
okay. Just want to, emergency road work on Holmesville Hill. Did that start today?
Not, we got the signs up, everybody knows it's gonna be closing. Next Monday, Crawford's gonna be on the job until it's complete.
So it's complete.
They filled the gravel in there.
Yes, we did fill the
That's been
void.
filled in.
Oh, you did.
There's
The one
some
that-
stones
yes.
and all that.
To
and
temporarily fix it, but you haven't closed the road yet.
It's not completely closed, we got the signs up. Thursday, we are gonna put barricades across it and start taking out the guardrails, so Monday morning we can start.
Okay, you did get, I typed up a little letter for you to give the
Yes.
residents on that road.
Mhm.
David put it on the website. Deb, I didn't see it on our website. We emailed you to put, David emailed you, to put it on our local town website on June 2nd.
The actual, I took his off of Facebook and gave it to them to be able to give residents.
Yeah, but I wanted to put it, I texted you to put it in the paper, but you said we didn't do that. And because John called me, said, get it in the paper and put it on our town website. And David wrote it up, and I didn't see it on the website. I would put it right on the first page, move the CD loan to something so that people can see it when they hit that. And since it hasn't started, do you want to put it in the paper, John?
Be nice, I mean, people,
It's not starting till Monday.
because it's not gonna affect just the local people, it's gonna affect other people that may try to
Know
work that
somebody
way,
that, yeah.
you know, and whatever.
So how long, because you said it might be 3 weeks, this whole start to finish.
Well.
So how long do you want to put it in the paper? A week?
I
Advertise it
think we
for,
can be plenty.
advertise it for a week?
Yeah.
Okay,
You say you have signs up now, so they.
We do,
Close,
yeah,
close.
we got the dates on it and all of that, so.
Right,
everybody's-
the people travel through
Yes.
there regularly, ought to see that
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes, yes.
True.
So we
That'll
get them
help.
up to give them a fair notice. And
I love the idea of the door-to-door drop
Yeah.
off. That was a great idea.
yes.
Yeah.
We have a few-
I only made you 6, I didn't know how many residents
Yes,
were on the
and-
road.
Actually, Debbie made us, I'm not sure how many copies, but
Okay.
she made us some more, so.
You know, you
we
probably
gave
should
them
put
all.
them in Maravitos in South Mabrolin, the post office in South
We
Mabrolin,
can do that.
just in the library.
Sure.
Of the public places down there, just post, ask them if you can post it. Yeah, because I think that'll give us more coverage too.
And we'll
Deb will
put
put it on the website.
Right, we'll put it on the board at the firehouse, and we've got Father's Day breakfast coming up, we can kind of add it up there so people know too.
Very nice.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah, with that being said, we have two nights off. But I would like permission to have the guys work. And even Friday, if we can work overtime until the project's complete, everybody's on board to do that.
They are on board to do that?
Yes. So if we, you know,
So,
there's a lot of daylight, 4:30 and 7:30, 8 o'clock, I mean, contractors willing to work that late. If,
yeah, the quicker we get it back open, the better off the residents will be. That's a Thursday.
The 19th is a Thursday, yes.
So you want to work Thursday, so I would have to check our personnel, that would be time and a half, correct?
Yeah, overtime would be time and a half.
Overtime, but, that's a holiday they're working.
It's time and a half for the holiday, because that's time for 40 hours.
Okay,
Right.
okay. Do they get another day off to replace that?
That's only on
No,
Christmas.
Okay. Okay,
So they're wanting to do it in.
so time and a half, and you want to work, it'll be the 20th
Yeah.
and probably the 27th, I'm assuming,
Um,
those 2 Fridays?
yeah, and, after hours too, I mean,
You just want to get it done.
I just wanna get it done.
Okay.
We got so much more to do.
So someone make a motion to approve overtime.
I'll move it. Oops, sorry, Ray, go ahead.
Okay,
Second,
Roy
second.
and John second it to get the Holmesville Road fixed, because it is an emergency. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will let Joan know.
You have something else?
Well, would we be able, you guys ought to take that time, instead of getting paid for it right now, they would rather use it
It's comp time?
comp time.
No.
The Friday or?
No, because it's too much paperwork, Joan told me.
Too much paperwork. What if I can?
That's what we pay for, isn't it?
I could keep track of their hours and just put 40 on their time card when they want
Are we doing something though that's going around
Against
the
the-
contract?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I
We gotta look
worry
at
about.
the union contract. Can we let you know that tomorrow?
to. Sure,
Because
absolutely.
we gotta go in executive over the union contract. So, and we have the contract, so we can look that up.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they'll have to get paid, and sorry, they're gonna pay income tax.
sure. They'll pay income tax, they just want to use that time in a different area,
Area.
a different time, like say fall time. Uses,
So,
So,
I usually can't there.
yes, that's basically what they're aiming for, is to just make those hours and, use it down the road.
The way I see it, it puts us negotiating with employees about something that we can't even know we're not supposed to do that, so.
Because it's a union contract, so, and I don't know if there's anything in that union contract, I
I
can't
never saw
remember,
that before, I know.
to do comp
That
time.
couldn't be there.
What it says in the union contract is that the union negotiates for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If we stick our nose in.
Then-
they're gonna get mad at us,
They're
right,
gonna
right. Okay, but you're approved,
Understood.
everyone voted.
They can
John,
let
did
you-
you say you wanted it in the paper?
Yes. Yeah,
How
right.
long are we
Week.
putting it?
Week.
You want it to run for a full week or you want it to run once during the week?
Run for a full
For
week.
a week, yeah, full week.
How much was it to run for a whole full week?
I know, it's just gonna be a little notice, right, the small one, it's gonna cost us money, but I think it's worth it.
It's not a huge.
Yeah, no,
And I don't know, do we need to do all 3 papers, or can we just do one, the Evening Sun?
We only have the one legally, not that
Right.
it's
Or the
a legal
Gazette.
notice, but
right,
Because we have to put it in the
One
Evening
anyway,
Sun, yeah, okay,
yeah, just one.
okay. All right, Jason, what else are you gonna have me with tonight?
Well,
Let me just make sure I don't have anything for you. I do have something for you.
Perfect, makes it a lot easier.
Okay, do we have cleanup after your dog signs?
I'll bet that's no fun.
No, down in South Berlin, I got a phone call that they're not picking up after their dogs, and it was by a church, and
Oh, St. Matthew's.
I don't know if we have a sign. And I don't know if we have any in the highway.
Yeah. I
There's
have
no
not-
signs down
I
there.
haven't
There's
seen
nothing
any
down
present anywhere.
We bought one specifically for Millbrook.
Do you know what they say?
Dogs must be on a leash, please clean up behind your dog, and then we have poop bags to clean up behind your dog. I think it was like $150 to get the pole with the sign in the bags.
Do you have that sign company or that catalog down at your, can you look to see how much, maybe 2 would be?
Yeah.
But I think, was
Poles,
it,
we have poles, we can just put it.
put it on. Yeah, if we could get probably 2, maybe one by the church and, Oh, they're large.
Large,
Okay.
Which makes large, you know, that.
So we need
Okay.
shovels and.
Okay, so if we could get a couple so we can place them south and in different spots.
After we buy these and put them out, how do we twist arms to get people to do it?
I think there is a fee. I think there's a
I don't
fine.
know if you got it.
And there's not in our local law.
I don't think it's-
I don't think there is.
No, I don't ever remember.
Never
that.
looked into that.
I don't
Check it
think,
out.
I don't know.
What do you do in the village, Pete?
Do you find them?
I mean, you got a lot more.
No, there is
down there.
a law, and I believe it does cite a fine, but as far as enforcement, again, it's one of those things where, you know, it's,
Good luck enforcement.
it exists, but I don't believe that it's.
Do you have any signs up? Clean up after your dog around the village?
The only sign is in front of the library, that is a library sign, it's not a village sign.
Okay.
We do have the signs that say clean up after your horses in the parking lots. But again, is that being enforced? No.
Right.
I will tell you that you could have a wonderful garden back there by the firehouse.
We'll just look at it and see how much they are. All right, so, emergency, we talked about,
On the emergency, can you just tell me, is the motion just to approve overtime by Roy and John, or do you guys have specific dates, or is it just a blanket overtime for the project?
For this
I
particular
think you're gonna have to use your discretion on when you need them to stay at work.
Sure.
it's gonna depend on the weather too.
We're
right?
not saying it's everything, we're saying as you need it,
Right, exactly, yeah.
that's,
Okay,
that clarify what you want.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just trust that you make sure.
Yeah,
Not taking advantage and
Right.
you just,
and the weather, we get rain every other day.
I know.
We've had a nice day, we've been working till 7:00, 8:00, you're good, some progress happening, you know.
like if you're right in the middle of something, you don't wanna quit, I get
Yeah,
it, okay. But I don't wanna have to go over budget either.
I hear you. I hear you. For sure.
Okay. All right, is that it? Oh, how was highway school?
It was good, yeah.
Okay.
Learned quite a bit.
Good,
New, for sure, so, I mean, a lot of the stuff I've heard and read online and whatnot, but, it was good,
yeah,
so, took quite a bit from it.
good,
Should be
good.
worth going again, I would say.
Okay, great. And last question, have we got the t-shirts ready from them? You haven't got an email, have you?
no,
No.
we're gonna get clarification, we had, I think, 3 different decisions in the text message, so I just.
Oh, okay, so what is the decision, so we can get them ordered?
I don't remember.
I didn't,
You didn't like it at all, John wanted color.
I didn't like it in the black and white. the
No,
new-
I wanted color.
Okay, you said
I thought
color.
we all said we want a color.
Yeah, because it takes it away. It takes away.
Yeah, it looks not great in black and white.
Yeah, it didn't look good in black and white.
Okay, so we wanted
Okay,
color and the,
Just for the winter.
Yeah.
and the name.
color and the name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a quick question for you, maybe sort of related, but not really related. The fire department down in Southtown is ordering those 4 flags when they get them in. I know you guys are really busy now. Maybe we can get them up, the ones that are gonna be down in Berlin with our new logo on it. And those, once they go up, they'll stay.
Okay.
We won't take them down and stuff, but it'll be welcome.
Sure. Yeah. Give me, let me know.
Yeah, I'll have Kevin reach out to you as soon as we get them and stuff, but we just doing 4 at start. That's what we have.
Gotcha. So you have a stock all picked out for them, we'll get that first.
Yeah, well, it'd be easy, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have them down there.
yeah. You already ordered them, right?
Well, I talked to the guy, I went down today,
Okay.
and it just as I walked to the door, we walked away from the door and it was closed, so
Okay.
apparently our lunches work together.
Okay, that's it, Jason. Thank you.
All right.
Unless you got anything
We've
else.
had a lot of washouts, right?
Yes, yeah, we've been taking care of washouts all day today.
Flooding is-
Yeah, we've seen you guys out and about.
Oh, yes, we have a lot of culvert pipes that are gonna need replacing. So I've been in touch with, the association up at Lake.
The Lake, Schneider Lake.
Yeah. So their concern is much higher than it has been in the past about getting their culverts replaced and whatnot, so.
Okay,
So I'll get up there, get an inventory and, you know, how much it's gonna be. estimate received, but,
Assess which ones are the worst and,
yeah, well, unfortunately,
I had a discussion with him the other day, or he had a discussion with me about, unofficially, he likes to have it happen, like right after Labor Day, when everybody leaves.
gotcha,
And I said to him,
Is that
well, you're
Steve?
gonna have to live with the schedule we got, but.
gotcha. Yeah, that's,
I don't know just what the,
I was up there Saturday cleaning out the catch basin, Steve, stopped me there, I think it was,
yeah,
and that's what he said, a lot of people leave after, Labor Day.
well, I drive the traffic,
Sure,
cuts down a lot.
absolutely.
I don't make people complain.
Well,
You
yeah,
know, have 2 or 3 who complain anyway.
of course, that's what I've heard as well, but, so yeah. I don't know if I can just order those pipes, or if you guys wanna estimate how much project's gonna take up there, or.
Well, probably be nice, but same time, you get the whole town to do too.
Well,
And
exactly.
we're not gonna ask you to
Right.
give a price on all those.
Yeah,
either.
And once you get in there and get started, it's time to do it.
sure, and this is it, I wanna get the
So I'll
inventory.
do one, and I know that the other time.
right, figure out how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
you're gonna think you're gonna get done, how much you're gonna order.
It's probably a good idea to see what you think it's worth.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, ballpark.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
And we got inventory of all the, not all, but pipes that we plan on doing anyway. To accumulate and get as well, so.
You got enough to do.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get some extra money for these surpluses.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, I guess that's about it.
All right, last thing, what's his name from Skid whatever?
Oh, okay, yeah,
He wants to pick up the check tomorrow.
he does. Okay.
So I don't know if you want to reach out to him, tell him he's got to be here between 9 and 1.
9 to 1.
And then, and I'll come down in the morning and sign the check so it's ready. But he wants to pick it up.
Okay.
So,
He ordered from mail.
no, he's coming down to pick it up. So
Gotcha.
if you want to text him tonight and say, just come between 9 and 1.
I'll do that.
And I'll come down in the morning and have Joan and I'll sign it so it's ready.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I told him to bring us an application so we can have an account.
We don't have an account.
I
I mean,
it just seemed odd. Well, I guess they don't deliver stuff without a payment first, and they did us a favor.
Families, they gotta go by the
right.
municipality.
Yeah.
If they can find somebody
So,
else.
but I did say, bring us the stuff, if you need us to fill it out, we'll fill it out ourselves. And he didn't know about that, so,
Right. And it's not like we begged him for it. He called us and said that he had it at his shop and.
He'd bring it.
To get it.
yeah, so you went and got it.
We didn't got it,
Okay.
It was gonna be such a hassle for
Yeah.
everybody, but.
Okay. Okay, all right,
No,
beautiful,
Sure.
No.
beautiful.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep.
All right,
Have a good night.
you too, Jason, thank you. Town justice? Any questions on the town justice report, anybody? Okay, South of Berlin Water. Our first filling with our new prices are going out. You ready for that, Deb, on South of Berlin Water? Why?
We don't, we've got maybe about 30 meter reads.
Well,
Original, we don't have any new
well,
meter
he
reads.
read them when he put the meters in.
Mhm.
So he says he has those, because I talked to Matt. And he's not sure when he's gonna be back. And I said, if you need me to pick you up, I'll drive and we'll go get the water meter reads.
Yeah, because
So
we're
he
gonna
said
only.
he has the original from when they got their meters. So that you
Right,
could
we
do.
weren't billing from back when they got their meters, we were billing from when he read them, because it's a quarterly billing, so when he read them, we have maybe a little more than 30, maybe there's about 40 reads, I had to take a picture of the handheld and
Because
page
he,
down and take pictures, so I have 40 pictures of the handhelds that I've got to match.
but on the
meter
new
number and the
ones,
read.
the new people that got their new heads, he should have reads for all those.
No, they didn't all end up reading. I talked to him about the fact that a lot of them came in with just 6 zeros. He thought they read, but a lot of them came in just with a bunch of zeros, and then he was gonna try to go back out again, and then everything else just started to happen.
Oh, that's, God, I just talked to him the other day and he thought he had them. He thought he had readings.
I showed him on the pictures because he was gonna go back out again. And so I had no way to download, so I just took pictures of the handheld. And then paged down, took another picture, and when he came and picked it up, I said, you've got a lot of reads here. I said, but a lot of these are just all zeros.
Well, maybe because it was a new head and we'll have an actual read the next one. Maybe it'll read zero till, because
Well,
it's a
we
brand
don't-
new head.
So we put the new heads on. Some of them I did with him, and then some of them he did on his own. And those were all done months before this billing quarter. So he went out, what are we billing? February, April, May, and June. So he went out the end of March and went around with the handheld to do the reads.
Right, so that we could do
And
actual
there's only
reads.
about maybe somewhere between like 30 and 45, I didn't actually count them, but there's not a lot of reads. And we still have a lot of people that didn't get changed
And
over.
that wasn't noticed back in March, so we could get another read on it?
Yeah, I talked to him about it, beginning of April, he was gonna go back out and try again.
Well, I'll have to talk to him again tomorrow. But
And
I
I'm
did
not
tell him
sure
I would
about-
drive him to go get the reads. Because this will be our first with the increased price.
Because a
The
lot of them
125.
also don't have the new meter heads, they have been
Right.
calling and wanting to do appointments, but with him out, we're not able to set appointments up yet. So those people, I mean, we're not gonna penalize them because they are trying, but we're just not able to get out there to them right now. So I'm not sure how
I
you
thought we
want
had
it.
more than half of them already on. That was the last, we had more than half, we only liked a few more.
Not a few, he gave me a list, we had about 25 that he gave me a list of the
So
ones that
then,
we didn't have.
We have 121,
Then
so,
he went out and got some more.
so then we have 100 done. So if we only got 25 left, we only have 125 people with meters. Is that correct?
No, I think we have 147 with meters. We have 100.
I thought we had 147 with debt retirement, 125 with meters.
We have 153 customers total.
But they're not all with meters, right?
No,
Right, there's some are debt retirement.
Mhm.
And I thought there was only like 121, 100, because that's what we based the budget on, 125.
Meters what?
With meters, yeah. We'll have to
I wanna
look
say
at
it
that
was like
spreadsheet
124.
too. Because I was hoping that you had it, so he could have a spreadsheet when he does do the reads, he can write down what they're gonna read. And then next time he can document what he got first and then what he got now. So we'll have to see, because if that's the case, then these heads didn't work.
Yeah, we've got a
And
lot
it's been
that
3
just went
months that
zeros.
we're saying that we don't have working heads again. We waited 2 years.
I mean, if they all read zeros and he goes out now, then whatever their read is would be from 0 to the read.
And then we could do an average of when that date was to the 3
There are,
months.
there are people who are living there and new meter head was on there for a long enough period of time for them to at least take a shower or do a load of laundry. I mean, if some of them, they were
So
on
we
there for
should
over a
get
month.
rates, this next one we get rates, and I told him I would drive if he can't drive. I said, I'll go with you, we'll do it.
And then the ones that don't have the meter heads or didn't get reads, are we just billing them at minimum?
No, we motioned for the 125, you sent the letter to them, so they'll
But
be
they're
good.
trying to make the appointment and we weren't able to get to them.
Well, give Matt the list of those, who they were, so we know each individual that called.
He has them all. 'Cause I've
Okay, so
given
then we
every one
can
of them
talk to
him
Matt
as a
about
call.
it and see.
And if you need help, I can also drive if it's on a Friday or something.
Okay, it doesn't take long with the meter to drive around, we did it
Yeah, if you need help, I'll.
on Saturday.
I just wasn't sure if just the portion
But
that,
that's why we
Have
said
them
in
for-
March, I thought we were gonna do the read in March, and it was July, so it's gotta happen in July, the reading's gotta happen. That's why I
Right, so
called
what-
Matt to make sure if he wasn't available, that we would go do it.
At the end of June, or July.
Well, he does it
The end
at
of
the
June.
beginning of the month, he says, and then you bill out like that's next week.
Okay.
That's what he said.
he did the beginning of April, and then he would do the end of June. So really it was, I think it was more like March 31st, but just to finish my thought, I
So
remember
it would be, so it'd be that Monday, June 30th, June 30th. Okay. I need to get reads, okay. Just so I can call him to see. All right, and if not, we'll go get them. We gotta start, if they don't work this time, I'm voting that we do a standard price.
I'm
Because
saying
this
they're gonna
meter,
work. We're gonna,
it's gonna work.
gonna work.
It's gonna work.
It's too much time and energy. It's gonna work.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work on the water down there. All right, that's, I think, all we had on water, right? Let me just check. Oh, we did have an electrical problem down there. I got notified about 10 or 12 times on my cell phone that we had a low water read in our tank, but it was actually, it's an electrical problem on the board. The tank was fine. Ian went down. I was in contact with Ian. He went down and we got to call the computer guy with the panel. But I think I haven't got any more, so I think he either reset it and it's working now. So, okay, that's all on Millbrook, or water. Where am I? The assessor, okay. The assessor grievance went very, very well. There was nobody in attendance. Which was, we expected one person to show. They called, was gonna show. They never showed. They had one stipulation that they worked with the assessor on, the group did. They
Well, that's
were,
why you didn't have any, because there were situations were resolved before.
no,
They-
there was only one stipulation. Only one stipulation that called her, and she was gonna lower it. And they talked about it. I walked out because I was busy doing something else. And they come to terms where they didn't change it. I think they found some information that the guy wasn't accurate on providing, and it was an Airbnb. And the pictures were online, they found that out. And he said it wasn't completely done yet. So, but that was the only one that they had. But that's the only one that she brought to, that people, talked about with her, that called her, that I know of. It was a one stipulation. She talked to him over the phone and brought it to the board, and the board disagreed, and that was all. And they were here. So I thought that was pretty good, because we had 25, I think it was, increases, and 7 increases, village. Was that, am I accurate on that? I can't remember. It's in the packet, in the board minutes. There was increases and some decreases, but I thought it must be people were okay with them. So, because we've had times where we've been back to back, but,
They're never happy, believe me.
oh,
Believe
no,
me.
they're not happy, but we try to
I'm
work
never
it
happy
out.
with it either, so.
Well, you can come and grieve, John. 3rd month in May, you
Well,
can come and grieve.
Maybe it's because our equalization is not where they're coming. Maybe.
You really have a problem with that equalization
I'm
rate,
telling
don't you? I'm never gonna live it down. The equalization's rate's down.
I'm just
Wait,
saying.
what are we at, 75 right now?
I think it is. I thought I had that from the county. I think it's 75. So, all right,
I don't like anybody.
so, and we had to do,
100.
Can I get a copy of the ones for the village?
you did.
I said, could I get a copy?
I don't get them. I only get a total, how many she changed. I don't get individual
Not
people.
individuals, okay.
No, I just she writes a report of how many increases, how many decreases.
If I get a
5
copy of that,
increases,
it'd be
11 decreases
5 increases, 11 decreases.
in the village.
That's,
Decreases?
and then the town was,
5, I'm sorry, the village had 5 increases, 2 decreases. The town had 27 increases, 11 decreases.
yeah. All right.
Do you
Yeah,
have
we don't
just
get
5 and
people's
2?
names.
No,
We
that's
just-
all right.
we just get-
All I was hoping for was the total dollar value.
Okay. All right, so that went well. I bought them dinner, they had a nice time, and it was good. And we celebrated Mariah's birthday. All right, town clerk's report. Any questions? Oh, I don't have. Anybody?
The only addition to the town clerk's report, which was, I don't know if it was before or after I printed it, is that I will not be doing school tax collection this year.
I'm sorry, what?
I will not be doing school tax collection this year. So if anybody asks, it wouldn't be done here.
So do we have to make a motion to change that?
No, that was never a motion. That was an agreement between the school and I. They appointed me school tax collector.
So no school taxes will be taken at the town?
They ended up opening up a website and stuff to be able to do.
Yeah, someone told me you can pay it online
Yeah.
now.
They said they were gonna try that this year. They
Luke
didn't
told
know-
me he did it.
They didn't know how many people would know about it right away, since it's gonna be the first time they're gonna do it.
Are you gonna put a sign on the door or just?
Yeah, should we put an ad in?
Otherwise,
Well,
you're
the
gonna have
school
people-
probably should put an ad in the
Yeah.
paper.
Well, they should, but it maybe
That's
even
their
just a
problem.
sign on the door that it's not being collected here.
School taxes, where you pay them, when you pay them.
Yeah, it tells where you pay them and stuff on the
It's
school.
right on, it'll be right on the
Yeah.
bill.
You're expecting people to read their bill, Roy.
Well, I don't know how you find out how your bill is, but I have to read mine to see.
I understand, but after working in accounts payable, I can tell you people don't read it.
They see the number and that's it.
Okay.
What the hell, no.
It's the same for the last 10 years.
Exactly it.
Okay, moving on, Millbrook. You got your Millbrook report?
Okay.
We had a couple little things at the opening, which were resolved, and they wrote incident reports. And, oh, thanks, Tommy.
I realized that this morning.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very nice. This was just for May. Nice.
All right.
And see,
Okay. So we got that, it was, it's always rough the first week. Getting stuff out. And, yeah,
Okay, so a few things. We had a couple of incidents reports. I attached them.
yeah, we got those.
We do need some new swings up there.
I saw that, swings in a seesaw, a teeter-totter.
Well, they're like warped and they're,
Okay, so let me make a list.
and there are books you go up.
What?
And there's some books that we have around here.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
I've heard that the school is replacing all the swing sets this
Yeah.
summer. Maybe someone could reach out and see what they're planning to
Well,
do.
you can ask, but by law, that's why they're getting rid of it. There's so many years that they can use them, and they gotta throw them away.
Okay.
I don't know, they probably won't.
Well, I know they got that beautiful blue
Oh, I know
slide.
they do. I know they got the swing guards that bad and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll ask them. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually every 5 years, the highway would do the
yeah, the
teeter-totters.
teeter-totter, Dan would always build it. He'd go get new wood and,
Oh, okay.
I think, I don't know.
Mm.
You said every 5 years then?
It was every, yeah, maybe it would be safe to say every 5. It's probably been about that.
the building project.
Yeah, we have to fill out a building thing. Do we have a catalog?
Talk to Jason. Jason might have one
I
down there.
don't have that.
Jason might have one down there.
Okay, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. And the swings, does anybody know where we ordered them from?
Same thing, catalog, right?
No, that was a long time ago. They were donated, but then we had to get all new bolts because the state came out with a certain regulation about how the bolts had to be.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a catalog for playground equipment?
I believe we do, yeah. I don't know whether Jared has it or whether it's with County Banks.
Okay. Well, we can Google it and look.
I think Jared has it.
Okay, and we can, Jason might
Jason
have
talked to
one,
Jared.
he might have one down there. John?
They come at a pretty hefty cost. I remember
Oh, I
looking
know
at
they do.
playground equipment a while ago and
Okay,
Low table.
okay, because I don't know what
Wait,
kind, or what,
wait.
are they the rubber little mat ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basically dry rotted
don't we have one baby one?
tires, right? No, they're all the same.
Now, you know, someone asked me for that this weekend too. We need a baby swing down here.
Or mine.
Injury.
yeah, I'm not sure if you can do Lowe's, John. You guys will definitely have to look into, because they
Yeah,
got
I know,
very
yeah.
specific state requirements.
I agree.
You know,
They did have another swing set up in the coverall building. They had two that were donated, but then they had to do the thing with all the bolts and everything, so I think they just put up the one.
okay, all right. And, Sarah, I had made a thing, the building, you got some highlights on
Yeah.
on this.
Just to show that it is an elderly.
It is, that no fire left unintended.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Was there something that wanted to be updated in here?
Yeah, and I forgot to print it, I mean, pull it out.
And we have these posted on the website, I know. And do we have these up so if you can hand them out? You do, okay.
Yep, and we
They're
also have
posted in the
these and it's in the brochure as well.
Okay. Okay,
Oh.
perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay,
Along with the dog incident with Sarah, it's also in the brochure.
right.
It's also in the,
And
Rules.
Brian said he had another one this weekend with the dog.
yep.
So the dog thing is definitely a problem.
It's just they're not reading the sign.
Yeah, because it's the
This
health
big.
department. They can't, you can take your dogs down, if you want to throw the bone or sticks to them down by the water boat launch or down that way, but you can't on the beach area because of
And-
the health.
We just have to keep visual of who's going out there. and
Right.
who's not. And a lot of time they do it at the middle of the night, like, Friday night, they decided to move the buoys halfway over, so I had to go swimming Saturday and go back. So that's another thing that I wanted to address, getting that boat up there. We
Okay,
also had another incident that's, I didn't write up a report, I heard it secondhand, I wasn't there to witness it. Nobody officially came, the person that it happened to did not come to me and say anything.
okay.
He almost drowned.
Where was he swimming?
He wasn't swimming, he was on a kayak. He had boots, like wading boots on and heavy clothes, and the kayak flipped over.
And he couldn't swim.
And the weight of his clothes were pulling him down, and he was holding on to the kayak, but
For
it
flotation.
started sinking, and an Amish guy saved him, because he was out there.
Is there a
But
requirement, sir?
there would have been no, he was way over on the one end.
No one would have
and
seen it.
We wouldn't have been able to get to him in time. I wouldn't have been able to swim that far,
Right.
that fast.
That happened at Silver Lake some years ago.
So the
Did he
boat,
have, I'm taking it, he didn't have his life jacket on.
it was in the boat, or in the
And he didn't
kayak,
have
but
it
he
on.
did not have it on, and that's,
I bet he'll wear it next time he goes kayaking.
so, he was an older gentleman. I
Oh.
was told around 70, I guess.
Ah.
60.
So we have life jackets up there?
No, we do not. We do
No,
not.
because we don't provide any of that.
Sorry, I wasn't sure.
That's an
And
EDC thing.
Right, right, yeah.
Yeah, we can't even enforce it if we see someone go on the water without it.
We can
call.
suggest, and we can tell them, and we can call the EDC and let them know that there's people out there without them, but,
Right, we can't enforce it.
Right.
So,
so that's one incident I didn't.
But you never got a report, no one came to you?
Nobody came
It was
to me,
just
I
scary.
heard it secondhand from
Okay.
somebody who was told it by the person that it happened to.
Do we have
And-
a sign up there for,
Oh, yeah.
okay, okay. Oh, that's frightening, frightening.
I'm glad whoever it is all right.
I'm glad there was an
Terrifying.
Amish guy nearby.
Yeah,
One of his folks.
good grief.
I have a question, because I was up there camping this weekend. And, when people rent the pavilions, are they most of the time pretty much kept pretty clean?
Mhm.
You don't have a problem, like we don't have to get an extra security for cleaning and then, they,
Yeah, we usually go up, the Robin's Nest, the one that you were on, the issue with that one is if we get a heavy rain, it floods. I don't know where the rain comes from or how it gets on there.
no, it wasn't mine, it wasn't mine. I noticed some things left in another one that you were gonna have to clean, and I don't think it was their fault, I don't think they intentionally did it. I think they couldn't see it, because it was under a picnic table.
Oh,
But
there's sometimes.
And I was like, gosh,
People
it was
leave
just
things,
one piece of garbage.
It's not,
And I was like, gosh, do people pretty much usually clean them up? My
they
next,
usually clean them up so much, but a lot of times they don't have a broom or anything.
right, yeah, because we went and asked for a broom, and Brian brought it right up, and we swept the water out. But I think the water on ours was our fault.
Wow, if that one gets water on it, the night before I blew off water on it.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Brian
there's a
told me.
lot of water in the park.
But the other thing I wanted to ask
Sure.
is we don't have any lights in any of these pavilions.
Yeah, they were on.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to turn them on. There's no
They
light
should be
switch on there.
already on
Oh, they're dusk to dawn, they come on.
at night.
Because it was kind of really dark in the pavilion and there was no switch, and my husband was like, well, turn the breaker, and there's a lock on the breaker. I didn't know if there's a switch to turn the
I don't
lights
think
on.
there's any inside the pavilion, but there is one on the outside of each pavilion to like light up.
Yes.
The walkways.
There's one inside, but we didn't know how to
It's
turn it
supposed
on.
to- It's supposed to come on in dark.
Oh, it just comes out
It
at
just
dark.
comes on.
But it went during
I
the
tried
day,
that.
because it was kind of cloudy and rainy, and it was kind of dark in there, and I was like, gosh, we should have a light switch.
Only night she's going, probably that bad.
Yeah, okay, so, all right, that was just me. Other than that,
That one is dark, kind of dark.
yeah, it's because the trees are set back. It's a nice pavilion, though, it's not windy there.
The other thing, the other incidences I've had this weekend was, the dam. I've had 2 people now go on the dam with motorcycles or dirt bikes.
Oh, how did they get there, Connie?
From the other side of the pond, they come down by the tower, there's a roadway that comes in that gets mowed, so the guys can come down through there to mow. They come down that way, across the other side of the pond, and then they go to
So you had to
go fishing.
You had to go out and get them.
I had to go out there and let them know no. Mm-mm. You have to get out of here.
Again,
Or you can park over in the parking lot, but these can't be on this side of the pond, can't be on the dam, especially on the dam. And they complied, no problem. The second one's for yesterday.
So how do people, they can't walk across the dam to do the hike?
They can walk across, no motorized vehicles.
Oh, okay, but they can
unauthorized
fish
vehicles.
off the dam.
They can fish off the
Okay.
dam, they can walk on the dam.
Okay, okay.
They're just not supposed to stand on a concrete partition there.
Right, that sucks the water down, yeah. And
The
no
only
swimming.
people that are allowed and the only motorized vehicle that is allowed on the dam is the highway guys with the mower.
Okay.
That's it.
The small.
The one that's behind my camera right
by
now.
the tower there, they have a roadway by the tower there, doesn't they?
They
They have
come
a
down
fence
and,
there? They don't have a gate there?
There's no fence there, there's no gate there, there's nothing.
Well,
Anybody can drive.
Dan always went from his side of that road, there's a
He
gate there.
he used to come through the gate on
On his side, by his house, or,
29,
Yeah.
yes. But there's another access point on the other side of
well,
the
maybe they ought
stop doing it from that side.
to get some barriers and put them up and see what happens, I guess.
Do you wanna,
I mean, these 2 yesterday were mini bikes.
wow.
And when I got there, it was sketchy. And I didn't have my phone. But I can honestly say they were up to no good. And when I started to approach them, one ran down over the dam to get his bike down by where the overflow comes out. And the other one jumped on his bike and took off.
So maybe
And I
we
stood
need
there
to
until I
have a
watched them
sign,
go
do
out.
not enter.
Don't we
I
already
have
have
one.
the no
They go the other
motorized
way,
equipment?
Not on that
They
side.
can go
Not
to
on that
29
side.
way.
But I had one
Oh,
sign
close
off
the gate or
that
keep
needs to
sign.
Wow.
They
go
don't need to
there.
go.
Yeah.
But some should,
All right, you gonna take care of that?
I mean, it's with a dirt bike or a mini bike, it's not gonna stop them from going around the gate. It ain't stop them from going around, well, there's no gate on.
I'll talk to Jason, have him close that other end and start coming in on 29.
And I'll
That's
get
where
the
Dan
sign
always
out,
did.
I'll get the sign
There's
out.
a gate there, and there,
There's a
open and close. So.
sign pole that we put up there.
Okay,
Yeah, with the highway guy to get it out of the thing, and then get the sign down if they wanna put it in, because they need the big pounder.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty thick pole, so.
Yeah, they have the one that fits that, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I've got the sign.
you got that. Okay.
Okay. All right, great, good to know.
The other thing is, there's a fire pit. I have a picture of it. One of the picnic areas on this side, one of the fire pits, the whole bottom of it is rusted out and it's starting to fall. There's a hole probably about this big.
So we need a new fire pit.
So you might wanna start looking into replacing the fire pits one at a time.
Okay.
Because there's another one with it's just crumbling from underneath. It hasn't gone through yet, but every time I'm over there, you can see it on the ground.
Yeah, but under the fire pit, there's just dirt, right?
No, these are those
Fire
picnic
grills.
fire pits that are up for the little
Oh,
grills.
okay, I'm sorry.
You're talking about the barbecue
Barbecue.
ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's.
There's a catalog for those too. I've seen it, I can't remember where.
I don't have
I've seen
those
that.
pits.
I think we got those from Northern Tool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know we
you're
can get
right,
them
I
at
think I've
Lowe's,
seen
too.
those, yes, that's where I saw.
The smaller ones we can get from Lowe's.
Okay. Do you know about how many that we have up there?
There is.
Five.
Right.
Five?
Five by the picnic areas and then the
There's
two by the
six.
big, pavilions.
There's 3 on the picnic area down below and 3 on this side. And then we don't need any at the pavilions. The big ones are up there. The other one had already fallen apart, the little one, and we pulled the pole this year.
Okay.
So it already has a grill on both, but there is 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 small ones. 6 small ones.
6 small ones, and the pavilions have bigger ones.
Yep.
And there's 3 for the bigger pavilions, or just 2? The two?
There's
One
just
each, so-
1 each.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there'd only be 2 because there's only 2 pavilions that we run out, we don't use. No,
The sandpiper,
Right.
okay, okay. All right, good to know, very good.
The other thing is horses.
Oh,
We need to address horses.
where have they been parking?
Well,
We've talked about
Friday
this
night-
before.
I ended up having to yell at the Amish to come back in because they hooked them up on a campsite that somebody was coming in to rent. On top of that, I had to clean up horse poop because they pooped all over the site. I did have one spot for them that I had thought at the beginning of when I took over to corral in for the horses to designate as that spot only because they're hooking them up
Everywhere.
everywhere. And they keep using campsites. I don't have a problem with it. I check the campsite, make sure nobody's coming in as far as down by the water to park their buggies. And if nobody's using it, I don't have a problem with them using that fire pit because they've already been warned quite a few times not to build fires elsewhere in the park. Like in the woods and on the other side of the dam. And so they stopped doing that. And I told them, they could use a picnic area if they wanted to stay away from the people. Or,
The campsite,
Campsite.
because it wasn't booked for the weekend.
if it's not booked for the weekend. So I
Okay.
usually check before they
Okay.
go on it, but, they didn't this time. And they've been parking them in the woods along 26, 28, and 30. And they're starting to chew up all the trees. At the end of 30, yes,
There's no
because they're not
birthday
getting,
tree.
oh, they're not getting fed, and they're only on a
30
leash, about this long.
Mm-hmm.
At the end
That's
of
The picnic areas.
picnic area, I think I showed you,
Yeah, we talked about it before.
corralling that small area in right there, because all the trees are like already not there, there's an open spot, so that they can put their horses in there. We can have a bucket, they can fill it up with water for them, whatever, throw hay on the ground, and then they're only pooping in one area.
Is that,
Yeah, we're gonna clean it up.
There should be a sign to clean up after your horse, just like the dogs.
If you put a
All
garbage
right.
can and a shovel, they'll probably clean up after their own. That's what
I've
they-
been down to Pennsylvania, Amish country. Now, down there, that's all there is, Amish. And the businesses, what they have in those businesses is a rail. tie rail.
You could do
They
that
put those
too.
there, and that, they designate that for horses. Also, they go down them roads too, you know what happens, you go up through town here,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, in Pennsylvania, you have to have a bucket, there's a bucket you can put on the back of that horse, and they can catch the, you know, that's what you need to be doing.
I asked
Simple
one of
as
the Amish
Whether they like it
guys,
or not, that they know that,
I've seen
As
some
long
of
as-
their buggies have the bucket, but
I,
they don't always
I-
use it.
the one time I did ask the Amish guy, cause I parked the buggy with a horse still attached to it right along the picnic area where the handicaps are. I asked him to pick it up and he just kicked it across the parking lot, so
they would-
I ended up having to clean that up, but
but that's.
that wasn't this year. But that is something
You
I
gotta have
think
designated
it
area,
needs to be
we're rail.
addressed.
Yeah, with a rail would be good
Yeah,
too,
and then-
just so they could
and
definitely
the
know,
signs we
okay,
must clean up.
this is made for us.
Remove, you must remove.
Right,
And a
You know,
sign.
not
without
taking
a
sign, clean up.
designated
remove it.
area. And let, you know,
And it should be in the shade, I'm assuming.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
in,
it's usually
it's
in the
all
shade,
through the trees.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
So, and they usually do tie their horses in that one spot for the most part. But now you've got them tying them on
More
campsites
signs.
and,
Nobody
So like when they tie them up, are they unhooking their buggy and parking their buggy in the parking lot and then moving their horse?
and then they
Okay.
take the horse to the,
Okay, so we
Oh,
need a
lots from
designated, we
parking
do
and
need a
they-
designated spot, okay.
we
Okay,
do need a designated spot, so they know that they need to.
okay.
Can we create a rail? Can we build one? You
No,
know,
Yeah,
the
that'd be
one.
pretty, kind of, yeah, thank you.
Can they build one? They're really good at building stuff.
that was our original thought is to have.
Maybe
them
we
do
could
it.
try.
did
Maybe we could talk to them.
about that, and I never heard anything back.
Like
Right.
if we, provide the materials, would they,
If we reached out to one of the elders, maybe we could say, we'd love to have you there, but maybe we could work together in making this, a place for all of us to enjoy.
I just don't know
We could
any of
open
the
it up.
elders to reach out to them.
Me either.
we can find some. We'll
I was gonna say, yeah, we can find some.
Okay.
It's always good to have that conversation instead of just
Okay.
automatically just
Exactly.
throwing
All
So
right.
things.
move them, right.
The
Yeah.
fishing journey went over great.
But we saw a lot of worms.
We did that weekend. We sold almost half of what we had in stock.
I hope
on
that,
weekend.
it seems like it rains every weekend and I feel bad.
And we're still selling worms. so,
I
and they're
hope-
still going on.
I hope that
That's-
it's,
that's kinda
this
good.
month is gonna change, it's gonna start being nice, because you guys have had some awful weather,
Yeah.
to be working in. It's been rainy every weekend. I mean, Friday night it poured up there.
I went home. I knew it was gonna pour.
Yeah, so,
I
okay,
think I'm going home.
all right, thanks, Connie.
Before we
Okay.
move off, we were talking about changing the rules.
Oh, yeah,
I just wanted to add, because a couple of board members have brought up that they're concerned about the other, like carts, golf carts, UTVs
right.
in the
Being
park
insured.
not being insured. So I added a section to the rules under the recreation use. No person is authorized to operate any motorized transportation in the park other than registered vehicles. This includes but is not limited to golf carts, UTVs, ATVs, and dirt bikes. Exceptions may be made for handicapped persons or medical reasons, but operators must follow all New York State laws for such operations and provide a certificate of insurance. Exceptions are made at the discretion of camp staff, must be documented, and may be revoked at any time. So,
That will reduce how many people bring the golf carts.
Well,
They
it's
have to
already
insure
pretty
them.
low, but
Well,
not gonna bring it.
I usually let them know and they have to provide me with a medical
Certificate.
certificate
That's the only way
of
you
not
could say it.
being able to go places. One guy comes up, he's missing a leg, it's obvious.
right.
Right.
And one has,
Chair.
Handicap.
yeah, like little,
Scooter or
right,
whatever.
little chairs.
Yeah.
Instead of
There's a
go-karts,
couple
so.
Razzles.
of elderly people that use those.
Rascals. Rascals. I'll be needing one of those in 5 years.
Okay, do we need a motion to have that added?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Just one thing I failed to mention, reminder that the community yard sale is the 21st.
Yes.
Starting at 8 o'clock, signs are out, the map is still being constructed.
Okay. And Connie has been notified by the farmer's market. They're gonna have it up there that day instead of downtown. Is that the same day?
I do believe so. I was gonna reach out to
The
the one
Chobani
person.
Center was rented out
On
on
the
the,
21st.
on July, so they needed a place, so Connie said they could come
Yeah, I
up and
wanna
set
say
up.
it was the
I don't
21st.
remember the schedule for the Giovanni Center, but,
Okay, but she put it in a report that the farmer's market will be up.
yeah, they're moving around to, get, more lucrative targets at this point.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Yeah,
Thanks, Pete.
okay, thanks, Kate.
Thanks, guys.
So, yeah, so that weekend of garage sales, they asked Connie if they could
All
come
right,
up
tell
there.
them we should look at it now. You're adding to
I
the
think we
rules.
should vote on it.
You're adding
Okay.
to the rules.
Okay,
So Sarah, you made the motion, right, to,
to add those,
I second it.
all in favor, any more discussion on the new rules added? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
I think we should ask our insurance carrier for what the limits on that need to be and have them provide what we expect our certificate of insurance.
is I'm assuming that's under a homeowner's policy?
I'm
Yep.
really.
Golf
sure.
cart? Yeah, I would say it's under a
That's where I do
homeowner's, but we
that,
can find out. I'll reach out to Gates Cove.
Was under our audit, maybe. We took it off for now.
I was gonna say, I've never had one, so I have
Yeah.
no clue.
Yes, sir.
Same.
If they're not raising hell with the golf cart, I don't see really what the issue is up there.
Yeah, it's just that they have to have some kind of insurance on it, so if they hit somebody or had an
The
accident.
one she's referring to is Rick Miller, and after, if you know him, he has a breathing problem where he can't walk.
Yeah, that's why we
That's why,
allowed
yeah.
it. That's why we
That-
allowed
that
him
would
to
be
have
able
that.
Yeah,
That would be
at the
medical.
discretion of the
Yeah,
park, they
yes,
can do that, yes.
Yes, that's why because I think I've only seen one person up there with one, and that was the only time I've been.
I've seen two, the guy without the leg and Rick.
And the person that
And
lives on,
Annie comes up with her cart.
the person that lives up on the hill that gave me a little grief one.
Yeah,
day.
that's the one that's.
Oh, that
what
was,
the
that
call
wasn't
came
a
about.
golf cart though, right?
No, that was a UTV.
That was a
And he
UTV,
said
that's
he's been
different.
coming down there around the park for years.
Yeah.
I drove in with it, so I didn't say anything because it was a vehicle at that point. They drove in, they went around just like Andy does, went around and went right back out again. They didn't cause any problems, they weren't going very fast, and I just, okay,
That can be allowed.
as long as they don't.
Well, it's at the discretion.
Yeah,
Really, at the
right.
very best.
They weren't camping there, whether they came to
didn't camp,
visit
They just came
someone.
down through.
Well,
they lived
legally,
on 29
They're not supposed to be on the road legally,
Right,
so
exactly.
that's on
Right.
them.
No, you.
Hopefully
you
they
should be
got
on the
it
road. They can be
everywhere.
on, you should be
Yeah.
be on the road.
It's on the survey.
Oh, you got that
And insurance.
slow moving sign on, they can be on,
Yeah.
they go by my house all the time. I hate, right, road eight.
But we don't have a local law for them to be on the road.
I'm just,
Then that's supposed to be on the main roads, like, yeah, well, they do that to get to the trails and stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
they
And
can
get
go
a
down
gas
too.
station and
Well,
go
them
on ATVs.
license, they've got plates on.
They got.
Yeah, they have to have them
Oh, yeah.
insured, so
Oh,
they're
yeah,
insured and licensed,
oh,
yeah, okay, okay.
Just because they don't want them on a road doesn't mean they don't.
So that can go through the park, I mean, you know, as long as you're not.
Uh-huh.
And registered
insurance,
There you go.
I've seen a few with Norman.
Right,
Yeah, I'm surprised.
okay, anything else coming for us tonight? And the sun will shine this weekend?
Yay.
It's saying it's gonna rain this
I
weekend.
know, it rains every weekend, especially graduation weekend.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing is that I did turn in my resignation tonight,
Yes, she did.
Oh, okay.
effective immediately.
Connie has given me her resignation,
I am as well,
Sarah, you ready?
you are as well.
yes.
Oh,
Since
Judy.
the May 26th incident, I've had several people in school and at the park come to me, tell me what I did. Sarah was involved in the conversation around the park, talking about me, and I did not feel I can work with her.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I am too, Judy. This is the fire incident, correct?
Correct. But I supposedly I've been in their camper, you know, all this garbage is going around the park.
Well, let me clear the record that you did not enter their camper.
I know I did not.
Well, since you're saying that that's what's being said, I want it to be on the record that you did not enter their camper. At no point did I say that to anybody, so I don't know why that's being said.
That's what they started, that's what they said first,
Who said?
Rock and down.
That's not what they told
They
me.
said they had her on camera going in their camper.
Not what they said to me.
That's what they told him.
Well, if that was the case, they would have brought that information.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I
truly believe
Well,
that
they're-
that's
they're
not
not
the
she
case.
said she was in the camper. If she was in the camper, then if I had opened the door, she would have said, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I'm there,
Exactly.
don't put my fire out.
Right.
Exactly, and we were saying that there wasn't contact made with anybody at the site, so I don't see how that would be that you entered their camper, so. But as far as I'm aware, you did not trespass. You did what was asked of you with apologizing for not checking to see if somebody was there. As far as I was concerned, everything was resolved. So I think you did what we asked you to do.
I think you did your job, and that's what I said.
Absolutely. Are you
I said to Connie, next time, I said, just check to see if those campers are still at the park for another night.
Right, we
They're
didn't
going
have
to
a,
be throughout the summer and they're friends with Sarah. And I just,
You
I'm
don't want to have
uncomfortable.
them, okay.
I don't want to have an incident. I do not want to be verbally assaulted by the person again. One apologized, one did not.
We don't deserve that.
Okay, no,
no, and I did. speak
And
with both
because
them
of the
to say that
numerous
was unacceptable.
stories that have
Going
gone
around.
around and
Yeah,
that
that's
Sarah was involved,
ridiculous.
I don't feel that we can work fairly together. And I'm sorry for that, but
Yeah, I am too.
I am too.
I'm
yeah,
very
I mean, I'm coming from the park tonight, so that is also my time card for tonight.
Oh, so I gotta give this to,
And there's May 26th. I had written 20 instead of 28 hours, so I need to get that changed because I got paid
I didn't
for 48
notice.
instead of 56.
She had wrote 20 on there, and I didn't realize that there was another day on there, so
Yeah,
I didn't
I
fix
missed
it. And then Joan didn't catch it either, so.
okay, so
What
tell,
day is that?
On May 26th.
so do you want to write it on this so I know, because I'll forget? We owe you for a day, May
On May
26th.
26.
Okay, so do you
Was
know,
that a 8 or a 4?
It should be on one of the time cards
So
that
that
Joan
was-
already has.
okay, so let me write a note then.
I was gonna have you look at it.
See,
Okay.
it was 8 days, or 8 hours, 4
May
hours.
26th.
88. I wrote 20, it should have said 28.
We just calculate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, and Joan just took what you had.
right.
Okay, so we
So
owe
it's my
you,
mistake, but,
so we owe you 8 more hours on
May 26th.
this, correct?
Oh, on
so I
May
must have been
26th.
looking at these 3 dates and just, we all overlooked it.
Yeah, I didn't even.
So that was 8 hours on that day, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we owe. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Yeah. And
Well, I'm
very-
sorry you're not comfortable in the park anymore, Judy.
I'm very sorry that
I'm
you
sorry to
both
see
are
that.
resigning.
You know, I probably would have tried it, but because of all these stories, and I understand it's stories,
Mhm.
but they're reliable sources. I mean, when I've had 2 people at school bring it to my attention, and then even tonight, somebody at the park told me about it, so, and that you were involved, so. I do not believe that you wanted me to return next year, and certainly not to take over for Connie. So I think it's in our best interest to part ways.
Well, again, we're sorry and thank you for what you've
Yes.
done. We appreciate it.
Yes, you've been a good worker to us, and if you change your mind, please reach out.
Yeah.
If you want to come back, because I know you were interested in the job, and we were gonna.
Yeah, we were gonna post it.
We were gonna post it to start getting applications, to start doing interviews. So
Well,
if we can
if you
resolve
didn't know
it,
me better than that in the last 3 years, then, you know.
if we
Right.
can resolve it and we do a sit down, would you consider coming back?
We have to post it, because just by.
I understand.
Right.
Just because.
I understand. Things would have to change here.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right. Anything else?
No,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
For coming in, Judy.
wanted to let you know that the reason why I'm resigning, I can't get rid the time anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm too busy.
Yeah, well, you're working a full-time job now, so,
Yeah, we're happy for you to have that full-time job and be making more money.
yeah. And then we'll talk about the
I'm
other
getting
stuff.
burned out.
Yeah, it's a lot of work up there. You know, I was there this weekend. It's a lot of work. We'll talk about the rest of the stuff in executive meeting because I can't talk about it. And
I wanna be involved.
Okay, you have to wait, because we got union, police, and you. I'll try to do you first, so you don't stay all night.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, supervisor. Okay, this is Dairy Month at Shenango County, was the Dairy Month, and they are recognizing any dairy people.
I hope somebody's recognizing them, what
So-
they're trying to do.
Yes, and the statistics today were very interested. God, I wish I had it written down, but I didn't bring the paper. New York, I think, is fifth in the state with #1 dairy. Like
Wow,
a fifth.
that's pretty
Like New York State is #5 with dairy
So
producing.
why is this stupid government of ours trying to limit the number of
Absolutely.
cows?
Amen.
I don't know, but it was a very good presentation today. And it was
Well, they
good.
are fighting it, but you know we have a Democratic.
Yeah, I know.
But the next thing is, we had another proposal on the new building, and I voted no again. And so if you hear why I voted no, this one was, I voted no last time for the Hunt company to come in, because I just feel like I don't know enough about the new building project. This one was to pay him, they're moving financial money around, but they want to put it so that they could get it in the bond after, if we do proceed with the project. It was like a foresight. And there was probably 4 or 5 board members that voted no for it. So just so if you hear your town of Supervisor Berlin is not back in the new building project, I say no because it's a lot of money. And I feel like, yeah, I think, so that's that. Other than that, not much at county, just regular stuff. Committee, planning board, Teresa.
I have a question before I start. Your minutes that you're looking at are dated May 1st, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Because you're 1 month behind us because of the fact that my meeting is the day after
Right.
the minutes need to be turned in. So I just want to make sure I'm not gonna put the right stuff. Okay. The Sanford Jones, subdivision, we finally figured out a way to make it happen. So, they haven't come back to us yet, and I'm sure they will with a survey, and then we will have to give them a large variance because of this unique situation.
Okay.
So, John McGraw had a double wide up on Shaw Road, and the lady came from Oneana, and she was so prepared, it was refreshing. So that got done. Dale and Jean Stevens, their manufactured home, was an interesting situation. But it was a mass miscommunication. I questioned them because she said that she did not need engineered plans. And I was 99 and 100% sure she did, but that 110% got it. So we waited, and Ian said definitely. And it's because not for New York state law, but for federal law.
Oh.
Federal law says they have to have engineered
Engineer plans.
stamped plans for their foundation, period.
Okay.
So we got that now, and we know that, so we're not have to worry about that anymore. And they did come on Thursday night, and they're all done, and you have it. Ditto, they're done. Amanda Tittle and David Wilson, I don't know where this comes from, but her very first time she came, she said, well, we're gonna trade land. I said, not in this town of New Berlin. She said, well, they do it in Cooperstown. I said, well, that's nice. Well, she can't trade it. So, it ended up that David Wilson has had, and it was bugging me. I knew he'd been in before, so I checked Thursday night, and he was in the file. So he has to do a minor subdivision. And it's just because he's already done a simple site.
Oh, he already split it once, so now he's not
Right, so he
mine.
has to do that. So I'm gonna get with Deb because we have to have a public meeting. And we've moved our meeting. It's not going to be on the 3rd, it's going to be on the 10th. So I will get back with you someday soon so that you can keep that all posted. The driveway law is finished, I believe, fingers crossed. The permit is done. The lawyer's recommendations were excellent. They were a very big help. And did you tell them what we found? In the,
Go ahead. No.
okay.
Okay, we just-
Last meeting, not this June, but in May, we discovered that we already have an ordinance within our town codes for us to, take care of driveways. This is just going to enhance what we have.
already have.
Yes. It's, 130, section 3. I can't tell you the little
That
number
was for
underneath it.
temporary.
So that takes care of that.
Temporary.
And Bobby had a question about solar laws, so we kind of explained how we have the law for renewable energy, the solar, so we kind of brought him up to speed. That being said, we are going to have our New York State training on August 20th at the Morrisville campus in Norwich. And all board members will be attending. And they're good ones, because one of them that they're doing is seeker, and one of them is the 239 review, and both Andy and Bobby have no clue what that means.
So they're
So
gonna take
this
that.
will be really good for them. And then the other one is short-term rentals.
Is that the thing I forwarded to
Yes,
you?
it is.
Okay, because I think I might have a color copy if you need it.
I copied it off.
Okay, so you got it, okay.
They lived with it.
Yeah, okay,
So.
beautiful.
And Andy is turning out to be wonderful because he understands all this manufactured home stuff.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
just take it and hand it to him and he looks at it and I get back and we're good.
Okay. All right, CDLF committee, they've asked to have an ad put back in the paper.
Okay, agree to.
So maybe we can get some response from that. So are you all okay with that? And maybe not do the picture of the house, but maybe just a reader ad, so it's not so much money to say, yes.
I have another thing on that. We were gonna look into the Everdoor direct mail.
Yes.
And I looked into that, but they said that it wasn't going to section out people from like Pittsfield, and so I said, yeah, then I think that's really not the angle.
Right.
But then I have remembered, either here or when I was over in Pittsfield, you can go to the county, and I've already asked real properties, the county can section off, and it's 4 cents a label. I wanted to get permission tonight for the go-ahead. It's 4 cents per label, and they can print off labels for TOV, which would be the town outside of the village. So only the parcels for our town that pay the TOV tax, which are the people we want to target.
And then we can do it, just
And
send
so
that
for 4 cents a
flyer
label, they send that.
and we mail it, a stamp.
Yeah, that's
Thanks for coming.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Connie addressed what I wanted to talk about at Millbrook with the Amish, and I have no qualms with them being there. It just, you expect a dog owner to pick up after their dog.
We said
My
that
kids
last
playing, my grandkids play in those woods. I don't need them coming trips and back into my camper with
Yeah, it's gross.
dung on the bottom of their shoes. So,
time. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming
Thanks for
tonight.
coming. Have a good night.
thank you. You too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, so we can get more people out to know, then we can go to the residents. Okay, so can I get a motion that we get the labels made through the county
Absolutely.
to send for the CDL committee?
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay. All
Do you
in
want it
favor?
in the paper? Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we want to do the paper or just do this? How soon, how long will this take, you think?
They said that they can print them off for me. I said, just hold off until the meeting Monday. I just wanted to get approval.
Perfect.
I think when we get the mailers from the different places, because we send out, we used to send out our letters one for the fire department. They just give them like 24 hours or so and they can get us the print out.
Perfect.
So, yeah,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
I say that's,
Okay. So April and
it'd
John
probably be
second.
cheaper to mail them out than it would be to be having the people.
Right, I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Going to the committee. Highway, John, did we get
I think
everything
we got everything
covered?
on that, yep.
And just make sure. I don't have any more notes. Get that one. Okay. Building and grounds.
Yes, and Brian May finished it. County yet?
No, but I did get a text and
30
it
days,
did,
I know.
I'm sorry, I don't know where my phone is. I misplaced it.
30 days, though, isn't it? Then we give him 30 days.
He texted me and said it would be in the next 2 weeks, but I can't give you the date of the text because
Then we give him 30 days. That's all I'm asking.
he said he would have it done, be here in a month.
Okay, it's been a month.
So what do you want to propose?
I don't know if we can find anybody else, but I think, he doesn't, obviously he doesn't want to do it. Doesn't think he's got time, so that's why I'm thinking you guys can do whatever you want. I don't know if anybody else will do it, but.
We can't even get the
Mike can
doors
get-
replaced.
Just
So-
saying,
What do you want me to do?
we've been waiting for what, a year now?
Well, I mean, why don't we just get quotes from somebody else, and it's not like we're gonna decide for somebody else to do it in the next 2 days anyways.
So you want me to notify him and tell him he owes us $100 that we're no longer,
Unless you get here this week,
okay.
I guess.
He was also given the deposit.
Yeah, we gave him the deposit.
You done that,
Plus, did we take off the $100 off the deposit?
No.
It was gonna come off the final payment.
Right.
But I don't know,
So
I know
today
it's been a long
is,
time, but we're not gonna find anyone in the next 2 weeks, and he says he's going to.
so,
it's- you've been
and
there.
that was like, if I had my phone, I think it was last week, he said within 2 weeks.
I mean, it's up to you guys.
I'll get a
That's
date,
why you
so
were-
we'll say by June 6th, today's the 9th. So if he did that, so I'll say by the June 20th.
Well, you don't have to, you can, nobody's 2 weeks, it's up to you guys, so there's five.
I just
why
don't
there's
know
five-
what
that we
weeks.
should
Why there's
do
five of us here?
anything, I don't know that we should do anything until we find somebody else who's willing to do it, is what I was saying.
Why don't we just look for quotes?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And then come back and figure out if he hasn't been back, then we'll have to look at the quotes and go forward.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't want to bother a carpenter to get more quotes if they're not gonna get the job.
if you give them,
Bottom line,
tell them say give them money back or else do it.
Yeah.
Right away.
There you go.
In a week, or
okay,
if we get the money in a week, get the job done in a week otherwise.
okay.
After get rid of
That's
that,
fair
and move
enough,
on to
just
somebody
adapt
else.
them. I mean, we're gonna pay more, but
Well,
least
you
we're
don't
gonna
pay
get it
more,
done.
but we're not getting it done.
it's a shame.
Okay, other thing. Do we have access to that damn air conditioner?
Please, my grievance board, I opened this door, they were dying, and I have no idea where the remote
He was trying
is.
to work it, but he
I
couldn't
know.
work it.
Well,
That
it's
was all.
controlled from that office in there.
No.
It usually is a remote, it's usually,
David just took the remote out of the drawer and turned it on, but.
there was no remote in the drawer when I looked
Yeah,
at
but
it.
it
I
didn't
looked the
come
other
on.
night in the drawer and I said, well, maybe I shouldn't,
I'll
because
attest to that. 'cause
there's
he
a
wanted it-
camera up
I'm
and if
still-
you get arrested for both
Well,
the judges.
Well, this is the remote, right?
Yeah.
turn it on.
I looked all over for it the night of the
Turn it on.
grievance
So
board.
did John.
I think David was trying to put it,
There
maybe
you go, it's on.
he
No,
just
it
showed
just
us.
went up, down again.
So maybe it doesn't work.
Does it need a new battery? Oh, maybe you gotta open this thing?
Oh, boy.
No.
Oh, boy. You might wanna give it to her.
I don't even know how to run a TV clicker
You
or
pick up the
something.
battery. turn it
Oh,
on.
boy.
Okay,
Wait, she just got it.
There
Right,
you
take
go.
it
There we go. And we looked for the remote the other night.
I looked for it
You
too.
look for it, yes.
Hey, don't be pushing to me, you got flaps going back and forth now.
Well, have you ever turned it on?
I have, but it's been really wonky, I don't know.
Well,
if it's
maybe it
working.
needs a new battery.
No,
Maybe
we've
that's
actually
what we
ordered
did.
new remotes, we've ordered new batteries.
Well, no, it based upon what the temperature's set, whether it's gonna run or not. It's not
There could
set.
be something wrong with the condenser outside.
The numbers aren't even,
All right, well,
so it's not coming
we've been
up.
checking all in there.
All right, but anyhow, I guess we better figure it out.
Now, what about
It's
your
working.
alarm system there, Deb? What's the deal with that? Because we came in the other night, planning board, it was on, and
It's
They went
because
over it.
we got a new phone system,
Right.
and that's an analog.
Analog,
Yeah.
but they said at the time that they came, that part of the work order was not to remove the analog, they had to leave them.
Because of
He-
that, I thought.
Yes,
Right, I
because
thought
of
we were
that.
leaving a line on for
And then David
that.
said he was going to call the higher up because he wanted the analogs gone. And then the guy from Frontier said, well, if you do that, it's just gonna take longer. We've already tried, and they said no. He said, give me the number, I'll tell them I want the analogs gone.
Well, I thought it was staying on analog, but the guy they're coming this week. They're coming Thursday.
Fire people said that they had
He
equipment
says
that
that-
they can upgrade it.
Yeah, the panel's really old, that we should get a
Okay, well,
new
this is-
panel,
But
because
right
it
now we have no
snaps,
fire alarms.
it snaps right on to it, the new panel that they're gonna bring, and it'll work with the new phone system, because it's so old.
The new
So,
phone system, the other oddity is, I got 2 emails and a few other people told me,
That's it.
if you call from a house phone, it just rings and rings and rings and rings, there's no nothing. But if you call from your cell phone, you get the recording. I had 3 people, I
And I
had one
had-
that has told me they've tried for
Jean
weeks.
Stevens called me and she said that Deb had called her twice the day before and she tried to call her back all day long and there was no response on the telephone.
Did you ever ask her, because I don't even know who that is, so I have
No,
no
I
idea. who
tried to make my
twice. I did not.
conversation minimal.
from a,
I have not tried to call this person, but apparently I attempted to call them twice, and then they attempted to call me back all day long and couldn't get.
okay,
So it's just been really weird.
all right, they're
Well, I
coming
decided
in,
I'll
so
just
we'll
call
find
her on
out.
her cell phone.
Okay.
It could be mobile back.
Youth, Sarah? I guess,
I think we pretty well covered that.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
well, I guess we're
Yeah,
gonna,
Find somebody.
have to put
Do we
ads in the
have to
paper.
vote to accept resignations, since that was brought up?
Can we put that in the exam?
Can we do it in executive and then come out and then vote?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Anything more on police?
Not that we're not gonna touch base with.
Okay. Ambulance, we got the report.
Yep.
John, on the vouchers, you didn't sign the ambulance voucher.
I did, I'm sorry. I didn't-
Yeah, I pulled that, I left it out,
Okay.
okay?
I didn't look at it.
I don't have a 28 resolution for vouchers.
Oh.
You have,
I typed the number and then I didn't print one. No, I
Okay.
typed it because I knew that was the next number.
okay,
I
so,
apologize, we'll just have to do a running list and then I'll put a
All
complete
right.
one.
well, general is gonna have to be changed $42.14, I believe. And that is for, it's nobody's fault, it's because we've always had, the youth contractual from Millbrook, and it was parts for the water thing that was dripping, leaking. So that's gotta be put into the B fund, and I put the number on there.
Minus 4214.
All right, John, can you pull that one just to make, see the little tab sticking out?
Yep.
I just wanna make sure that's that one. I left it out. No, it might be, no,
Just left it.
no, that's not
All right.
it. Whatever, Deb, it's that one. I'm pretty sure it was $42 and.
4214.
Yeah, okay. So that will change the general fund from the 3,191.04 to 33,148.90.
I
Sorry about
already, what? I just did that. 319104 minus 4214 is 314890.
Yes.
Oh, you said 33 something.
Oh, sorry, I'm at 3,148.90. That's what I wrote down.
4890.
Okay, so then the B fund will be increased by the 4214. So that should be 2850.39.
4214.
I could vote. It turns on and turns off.
Okay. So I have to, well, I might have to call somebody to look at that.
Is that the only one we have in this building, or just that one?
No, there's another one inside for,
Because I know where I work, they have 2 of those, and if
And
the
you get
first
the
one on the
wrong
line
remote.
isn't running on AC, the second one won't turn on.
I'll have to ask Karen, maybe
Unless
it's
you get
just
the wrong remote.
operator.
When you get the remote.
So, and that goes to theirs and we got the wrong remote.
Could be.
All right, DA is 3,800, same. DB was 575009. South Monroe Lane, there was none, because I didn't see any. Or did I miss that?
I don't know, you're way ahead of me now.
Yes, you do.
I don't,
That's all right.
where's DA? No,
Right here, right down here.
there's TA.
Can you back up, tell me what number you got?
DB was, on this thing that was printed was 575009, nothing changed on DB.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had questions on a couple things on
okay, on DB,
it. Mm-hmm.
all right, hit me.
Is the Built Right fabrication, that was for the Alamo mower, is that it going to the right account, Russian League, is that right? Cause I know
Here
it's
we
a
go
mower,
again, here we go again,
I know it's a mower, but it's
an equipment.
the attachment for the big. That's why I'm asking, is that, I could have sworn the
We were
last time we
putting
were talking
everything
about
under.
this, we were putting it under machinery contractual.
Right. It should have been, yes. That's what I would have put it.
Maybe try to find it.
If it's a machinery, it's an attachment.
On the thing, it's 514004, and you think it should be the 5130.
I think. Cause I could have sworn in our last meeting, that's what we decided,
That all the equipment was gonna go under.
Yes.
that all the attachments,
Yeah,
even if it's for mowing, it still goes under equipment.
No, it was only the big mower that did roadside. That's the one you guys decided would go under equipment. The other mowers that just do your regular typical mowing, we're all gonna say under brushing weeds.
Right, but this is the roadside mower,
This is
the
roadside
Alamo.
mower, yeah, this is when they fabricate.
Yeah, so that would be
Yes.
the equipment.
So it should be 5130.
So this is
So
the
I
one
don't
that
have
they
it posted, I'll put it on the top. This one needs to be changed.
had.
Do you want me to just put a line through it and change it?
Yeah, I
Which
mean,
one
it's
is
staying
that?
in the same font.
It's Built Right Fabrications, I'll put it on here.
1454.
Right, okay.
Built Right Fabrications, and it'll be 5130.4 contractual equipment.
Right.
Instead
What did we
of,
have done last time? That was a roadside mower. If
we,
Yeah, both
we
of
have
them were
another
down.
one.
Both of them were down.
Oh, we have two roadside mowers.
Yes.
and then so it's DB 51, so I don't know, do you want me to change it on this too?
30.4. No, I haven't changed on this, but it's the same fund, so she has
Yeah.
to just change the number.
Yeah. And then the other one was Cook Brothers Truck Parts. I wasn't sure if that was coming out of the right account. We put that to machinery contractual expense, but it was like shovels. And I don't know that shovels are machinery.
What was
No.
the thing, Cook Brothers?
Cook Brothers, yeah.
There's two of them.
$300.62. All three of the invoices attached are shovel related.
It says shovel holder,
Right.
so it's getting attached to a truck, I'm assuming?
I don't know.
I would think.
I would think so, yeah, there's something, yeah, there's bigger, because it's a $300 shovel. Yeah,
And it's a Razorback round point,
Work on its own.
long handled shovel. Is that get attached to the vehicle? And a Razorback 12 LX9 5W48 square head shovel.
so, yeah, that's the attachment to.
And then a split pin socket, a spring. So where do you think this should go on?
So are these like hand tool shovels
No,
or?
no, these are stuff.
Okay,
that go
that's what I was asking.
Oh.
hydraulically and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, okay. So that one's good. Okay, that's it?
On that one,
Okay. The only, I put a tag on Gillies because I don't understand. The invoice says $936 and we're only paying $152.26
because there's multiple vouchers that add up.
to that amount, and you found them? That was me, because I didn't see them all. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's
So
comes out
did
of a
all-
couple of different funds and
Okay.
several different vouchers.
We signed all the things. Okay. All right, and then the other one, Deb, I put a big orange sticker on it. That's the one the guys come to pick up. Okay, so they don't mail it. And I had told Jamie last week, because I texted you all to pay him last week in the thing, and then I said, you know what? You can wait. Okay, I think that was it. So,
Is it
South
for all the vouchers or, because I have more.
Oh, okay, well, hit me.
Okay, moving on to general. There's a reimbursement for Karen for a Dollar General purchase that has sales tax on it. And I thought we were not reimbursing sales tax.
We didn't, I think we did the flat amount. That's what it was going in for.
I didn't catch that, and I saw it, because I didn't think it had a voucher on it. Oh, there's another one in here that doesn't have a voucher on it, too.
Robert Decker doesn't have his paper.
Yeah, because I saw that, I was like,
I think we ran out of papers, I didn't make enough copies.
so he needs a paper on his.
Okay, Karen's total.
So we gotta make a note for
4374.
Joan.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
Took
okay.
the tax on pay plus. That's good. Okay, that was it for
Okay.
that one. And then I had some other questions, but they aren't like amazing.
So can we move on?
Are we gonna talk about prepays now, or you wanna wait?
Um,
Did you wanted to ask about the AT&T phone?
oh, yeah, the prepays. We got another phone for the highway phone. I thought we shut that off. We paid it off
Oh,
last
yeah.
month, and we got another bill.
Yes, by the time they were able to shut it off, they were given a hard time. They had to first switch the numbers around because of the way the number was attached to the equipment. And it was a whole big runaround, and then they said they did it, and then the bill came in. Jamie called them back again. And then they sent her an email telling her that 373-2905 has been shut. So she scurried and said, no, that's the one we need, because that's Millbrook's number. And then it finally all got resolved, but there was still a layover bill, because they always bill in
So we
advance.
shouldn't see it on the next month's.
You
bill.
shouldn't see it on the next
Okay.
month's.
Okay.
But there were just still things that still had to,
Be done, because I know we had to pay off the contract so we could get it switched, so we could get it shut
Yeah.
off. Okay.
and so then by the time Joan came in, she did that as a prepay, she paid off the contract.
Yeah, because we paid that last month. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, Highway DA, Keystone Associates is a mining permit renewal. Why does that go to Snow Ice?
Because
This is
sand.
where the sand.
It's for sand.
We mix the
yeah,
sand with
that's
the
where we get
salt.
sand from.
That's where they
That's
store
all.
the
I
magic.
just didn't know what it was.
Magic too, yes, for the magic store and the salt.
The mining permit we have to have maintained to keep the bid open.
To keep the sand, that sand bank open to
Okay.
mine it.
See, I thought it was gravel. That's why I was like,
Well,
no, I
there's
don't think that has
gravel,
anything to do with.
Total gravel
Snow.
and sand, stone and all that.
And they
We
shift
separate
the
all
rocks
stone
out,
And then we go to sand.
and then it makes
Okay.
the sand.
Okay, I was just curious how that equated to snow, that's all.
Okay.
And then the last thing is a Connie question. There's a Millbrook refund request for Sarah LaRue.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving it to her? What's,
Because I forgot to put it in when she requested it.
a hot minute ago?
Yeah, it was a hot minute ago. It was
Okay.
before the Margaret thing and the
Okay,
other thing and. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
one
because I
that
didn't see
had
anything
on a
written
piece
up
of
on that one,
paper.
but I didn't know what that one was either, so I assume she gave
She
you the notice.
just, she had made the reservation a week before she canceled it for that weekend. Well, it was for a weekend, I think 2 weeks after that or something. And she canceled it because something come up and they weren't gonna make it. And, I totally forgot and it
To
should have
put it
been in last month's meeting
Okay.
and not this one.
And we'll have another cancellation next month. Well, did you,
I gave it to Deb. I put it in her mailbox
for the one that,
for your,
the
For
one this
Pam?
weekend, she called and they played
she
phone
called,
tag.
yeah.
okay.
Since the 15th, we were playing phone tag.
Oh, no.
So she is getting a
Of
refund
May.
for one night. So do we want to put that as a prepay? Because you submitted it to Deb.
Yeah, I gave it to Deb. I put it in her mailbox, let her know about it. and
Because
put it
that
in her
happened
mailbox.
this weekend. So do you want to submit that and prepay it and be done with it, or hold it till next month?
No, let's pay her.
Yeah, I'd rather.
All right, can we have a motion for that we'll pay that late one in?
Do you want me to go get it and give it to you?
Yeah, we'll put it in the prepaid.
Yeah, or if they just canceled, why didn't they go in with 4 bills like the other ones usually do?
Well, they canceled a while ago, but it was,
Oh, but it just happened.
It just
it
happened.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, it had, they called a while ago, but they were playing phone tag to get it canceled, and so it just
Her
happened.
first initial call was 5/17 to cancel it.
Prepay.
I'll move it.
All right, John, I'm sorry, I was sleeping on it.
I'll
And
second.
Sarah, okay.
Yeah. I was
All in
like,
favor to pay the last refund for Millbrook to be cleaned up until next month?
Aye.
Aye, prepay. Okay. Anything else?
What was that over there?
Reifenberg,
And
yeah, Pamela and Doug Reifenberg. They thought the party was on Sunday, so they booked Sunday, and then they realized that they booked the wrong night. All right, so I need a motion that we're gonna approve these vouchers. Do you have any more questions?
that was all the questions.
Any more? Okay, so I need a motion.
I make a motion.
April, I need a second.
Second, Roy, second.
How about John, because you signed them? Well, you both signed them,
Sounds good.
actually.
Yeah, okay.
It's a joint effort.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
What are we doing?
Accepting the resolution 28 and,
That's not how that's done.
well, how do you do? Oh,
Okay.
shoot, I don't have my paper in front of me, so I forgot it's a roll call. I don't have the resolution, so
Parks.
sorry.
Yes.
Reifenberg,
Yes,
Christian,
Yes.
Stockwell,
Yes.
Wales right.
Yes.
I'm so sorry about that.
We understand.
It's-
Get it together.
Okay. Listen, I don't even have the board packet in front of me.
Do we want to say any of the numbers for it?
I did!
Okay, I'm
You
just
did.
asking.
Do you want me to say them again?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, Debbie, our numbers matched. Yep. And I didn't hear you, there was nothing for Southern Berlin Lighting, right? Because I didn't see anything. No, okay,
I think they're like every other month.
okay, all right. Balance sheet, any questions on the balance sheet? Anybody? On the financial reports, end of month reports? Anybody got any questions? Okay, so now we're going into old business. We're gonna table the harassment policy because we're still waiting for 3 pages to be typed.
Nice fair time.
Okay. And then I didn't know what the name of the new beach attendant we hired was, so I just said
Wendy
Goller.
Wendy Goller.
I didn't know it either when I typed this.
Yeah.
And then it all came.
So, I need a motion to accept the new hire.
I move.
Okay, Sarah and April. All in favor? Aye. We took care of the SBCA contract already. The town website, Debbie has spoke about it. The lawyer actually sent me a letter on it that we gotta do this .gov. And I think Deb's working on that.
No, that's what I put it on here under old business. I started working on it, but it needs to be set up by the supervisor with an ID me. So you've got the ID me for ARPA. You have to use the ID me because you have to have authorization from, and it's a list of people. Town supervisor is one of them at our level. But as soon as I crossed over and realized it's the ID me, which is like my ID and everything else, I wasn't comfortable. So I was gonna give that one to you to use the ID me.
All right, Sarah, I'm gonna need some
help
assistance on that because I won't know how to do that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, once you get to the site, it's a step-by-step. and
I do have
stopped
that
right at
account
ID me.
all set up. I just don't know how to set up a website, so, okay. So we have to get on this. This has to be done before the end of December.
So once you get the .gov, that's all you have to do is just get that domain.
And then North
that gets
Shore.
given to North Shore, and then they will transfer everything over.
And then
Right.
North Shore, will we keep the same emails, but it'll be .gov instead of,
Our emails won't change because they're Gmail.
Yeah, the emails are, and if you guys
oh,
want
we
to
gotta stop
change
using
to,
those and use this
So yes,
.gov.
our
Yeah,
emails. won't
just the
change.
website is mandated as a .gov, not emails. But it's not a bad idea
Yeah,
to,
we need to
I'm
change
not
it.
opposed to.
Okay.
changing that.
but in reality, if you look at some of the other municipalities and counties, there's still a .com email with a .gov site. I don't know if you have to pay extra to get .gov emails. I don't know that I've ever heard of an email that ends in
Yeah.
.gov.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
I think just the website is .gov.
We'll have to ask North Shore about it.
Okay. Next, highway laborer, new hire. I can't remember his name either. I didn't know. Cole
Haddock, great.
Haddock, Haddock.
P as in Paul.
Haddock, not Haddock, yes, thanks. What'd you say that?
HADP.
No,
P,
A.
P-A-D-D.
Haddock.
Oh, P.
Yeah.
Haddock.
I
Okay,
always say Haddock, I see it.
okay.
Haddock.
All right, I need a motion.
I'll move it.
John, and a second.
Second.
April, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I don't know who the new MEO is like.
Jacob,
He was on last month.
was he?
Who are you saying?
Jacob Einholzer.
No, you have, a guy I accidentally met in the parking lot.
Oh, that, but he was.
Joseph White?
Wasn't he
He was
last
on
month?
Joseph
Wednesday
White, he
too,
was-
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Where's the
he was,
minutes?
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't.
He's
I
a
don't have-
laborer anyway.
He's a laborer, not an, I don't think we hired a new
No.
MEO. I don't have the minutes. Look on the minutes if Joe was on there.
Wait, then why did I put MEO? Because you guys hired two people recently.
Yep. that
We-
was
they were
Joe
both
White-
laborers.
Joe White and,
Oh,
that
so
the
maybe that's
31?
where, Joe White was after last month's meeting. He wasn't before.
was the actor, okay, I thought.
Yeah, he was after, so it's two
Okay, yeah.
laborers, I'm sorry.
So it's two laborers. Okay.
Yeah, Joe White.
All right,
I'll
so,
move it.
so
Okay.
it's Joe White.
I'll
Okay.
move it, I'll move
Second.
Okay, John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
it. Everything's
Okay.
working out good with new.
The new hires?
Yeah,
Okay.
They like to work, so.
Good, sounds like it, they wanna work overtime, never heard that. The dam inspection, forgot to tell Jason this, but I have a note. Millbrook Dam inspection is tentatively set up, which you don't need to know anymore, but somebody needs to know that's gotta be there, is set up for July 28th. The dam needs to be mowed.
I
Okay?
just mowed it this last week.
Yeah, so that it has to be mowed, and he said that Wendy, he'll email me before, but this is the DEC guy coming. And John, they haven't got up there and fixed that, the bridge, it has a hole in it.
Which bridge?
The snowmobile bridge.
They had a hole, I didn't think it had.
It has a big chunk out of one of the boards.
I thought it was just in rough shape, not that it had a hole in it.
Well, it's got a chunk out of like in the middle of when you walk.
Somebody was telling the
I thought we were
snowmobile
gonna
club
get
they
the
were doing it.
snowmobile club to do it.
Yeah, I'm just telling John to tell him that they
No.
haven't got up there yet, because I walked it this weekend.
Okay, well, they weren't going, we said no, because it was the other bridge, it wasn't that one, remember?
No, it's the snowmobile bridge. I was confused. She sent me another picture of another bridge, but that one definitely is the snowmobile bridge. That,
Which bridge? Do you
there's
want
3 bridges there. That one
Okay.
definitely is the snowmobile bridge. That one needs
that?
to
Maybe
have
one more,
some.
but,
I tell them to reassess. It's a little
Right.
rough shape.
because they're gonna have to take a UTV after you get to the equipment out there, just so you know.
Well, we
As
have
long
one.
as they're authorized by you guys, they
Yeah.
can do that.
Okay, yep.
Because it does have a big chunk in the middle out
Okay,
of that
all
one.
right.
I
Well,
should,
they're
I told her
covered
it was
under
all
they're covered under the snowmobile trail insurance.
Yes.
so, the other one that she sent me the picture of, I don't really know where that one is. I didn't go on that one this
You
week.
go to 13, campsite 13, you know where you were, Pam was,
Yeah,
that road? If you
Oh,
go
down that thing.
Over that
okay.
thing,
Because I went
It's out
out
there.
I went the trail down by the pavilion.
right.
And that bridge looks pretty good.
That
one.
bridge is brand new.
Yeah.
It was taken out by trees a couple of years ago.
And we
Dan
replaced it.
it.
Okay.
That
Dan replaced
one
that
is
one?
up, the other one is up further. So if you go down behind all those
All right, I'll have
campsites
to
and go
walk
down
that
over
one.
the bank, that bridge is right there.
We might have to get it. I'll look at that one. I didn't go on that one, but I did go up on the other one because, yeah, that's a long story we won't get into. Okay, where am I?
No,
Yeah.
we were doing
Okay, we did that.
Okay,
Was
we
there
talked about
anything
that.
else on that?
On
Okay,
the dam inspection,
yes.
the guys might, there's trees growing up along the edge near the water. And he's gonna have a problem with those.
So they
They're
got
gonna wanna
trim
cut them
trees.
down before the inspection.
What side of the dam is that?
The side that's right up against the water.
Okay. Okay. And while we're still talking about the dam quick, I reached out to Barton and LaJudas, and they're looking for someone to come do the piezometer meters. So they got our signed contract that we're moving
perfect.
forward, and he's looking for a company to do the piezometers, okay? Okay, Millbrook, new hire.
We did that up in old business.
Yep, but now, I guess, is this where we're gonna do we're gonna do that when we get out?
Yeah.
Okay. Personnel policy review. We've tabled the harassment policy. We all worked real hard. But I'm telling you, nobody has time to do the personnel policy. I would like to make a motion that we cap it and send it to the lawyer to revive our personnel policy and get it up to date. I was scared the first time. Remember, he gave us a quote like 10 hours, and I'm like, no, we can't. We can do this, but we can't. Obviously, we don't have time. We got a good start on the harassment. We haven't even started the personnel policy. So I would like to move that we set so many hours for them to look at it and revamp what they can do in the little hours that we approve. Unless I got volunteers for a committee that wants to go over it and start it. Okay, so how many hours do we want to give the lawyer? I kind of know where we need fixing and where we don't, which
Do you
I would.
have time that we can at least look it over and see how bad it is and what we need?
Yes,
Time.
like I
I'll
have
sit
different
down and
paragraphs.
We'll sit down and work it out, and then we'll figure out the hours, because I would love to save us some money and not.
I want to cap it like 3 to 5, no more
So
than
let's
5.
look it over real
Because that's
quick.
gonna cost us, what is that, $1,500?
Right, but we should look it over, go over it, and then go from there.
Probably got some to anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Make
You always
sure
have to
that-
have them
But
look
that
over,
would just be reviewed, not
but not a
Right.
whole breakdown of it, because
Okay.
that's where we run into problems.
So you give
a,
me
so
a
we
time.
want to table that then?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
okay. All
I'd
right,
like to ask this question, because I know you're busy, but once we finish that driveway law, does it have to go back to the lawyer again for recheck?
I think we probably will,
Okay.
to make sure that we're all set, that we did it right and everything's right. Okay, so that's personnel. Next, I emailed the lawyer on, Debbie has notified us all that she's unavailable in the afternoons. The office hours have changed from 9 to 1 now, 4 days a week. Appointments Friday and Saturday, I believe. I don't have my phone to
They're doing
clarify.
them Sundays too, if they aren't able. I've had a couple people who needed a Sunday.
Okay, because I didn't get, that wasn't in the email you sent.
No, but if they ask, then I
Okay,
just came down.
so this has been the at least third time the office hours have been changed in the last, since probably October. So I reached out to the lawyer because this is my personal opinion, you all can have your own. I don't think it's fair to the taxpayer. So, and we cannot tell the town clerk, because she's elected, what her office hours can be. But he emailed me back and we can make a local law to dictate what the office hours can be. And she has to work within those hours, and we give her the deputy to fulfill the hours that we want. So he would draw us up a local law, we would put it out for public, yeah, no, it doesn't, this is,
It'll just go right on the ballot.
Public hearing.
no, it doesn't have to go on the ballot. We do our public hearing.
Oh,
I
okay.
This is not, we can pass this ourselves.
Oh, okay.
So Debbie's life has changed. Our town clerk's hours have changed. Our deputy's hours have changed. So I don't know if you want to do this or if you think we should do this. I personally think we should do this for the future of the town of New Berlin. I think and I don't mean this to be mean in any way, Debbie, but your life has changed, but the office work still is here. And I really feel that we've had a 9-to-5 office for years in this town, and people were used to it. And I don't know if I know people have been coming after hours. So y'all need to think about this before we do it, because if we do it, it'll be set for the next terms of the thing, and I don't know how soon it can go into effect. I don't know if it's immediate after we do it. I didn't get into details.
Right.
He sent me the email. I'll make you up a local law.
Also, just take into consideration that, yes, the hours were 9 to 5, they changed 8 to 4, and that was historical, but there were a lot of things that were historical that have been changed, that when I've stated they were historical, I've been told that not everything stays the same. So things do change over time.
I agree that.
It definitely
I-
does change.
The,
And
But
I
the
also,
job is getting done, it is complete. I'm meeting with people after hours, nights, weekends, I'm answering calls, emails, text messages, Facebook messages. So there's a lot of communication with me and the townspeople. And the job is, I'm getting the job done. It's not easy, but it's getting done.
you were elected to, and when you were elected by the people, they supplied you with a town office. That's where you should be, not at home. The COVID's over. Work should be done in the office.
Yeah, we're all entitled to our opinion.
No, I'm just,
I respect your opinion.
and, that's why I feel that, we should do something, because I don't think it's fair to the taxpayers. You're putting your deputy, the hours that you should be working, instead of a deputy, we wouldn't have to pay a deputy.
I am
And with
working
these 4
those
hours now, you complained so much that you had so much work, you couldn't do it in the 6 or 8 hours you worked before, and now we're down to 4 hours. I just don't understand it.
Yep, I'm here 4.5 hours a day, and then I'm working nights and weekends. I come in at 8
Were you
a.m.
4.5 hours here today?
Yes, sometimes 7:30. I come in at 7:30 or 8. I get a bunch of my paperwork done. I generally unlock the door sometimes. If I get really busy in paperwork, then the door gets unlocked when Jamie gets here at 9.
Were you here today for 4 hours?
I left here at 12:30 today. Yep, I came in probably just a few minutes. I was at Stewart, so I came in just a few minutes before 8.
But the office hours are 9 to 1.
My deputy had an appointment today and wasn't able to cover that 12:30 to
So the
1.
door was open at 8?
Yeah.
So how do people know that? I mean, if you,
because
If you
you're
advertise
advertising
it now-
9 to
Yes,
1.
because that
9 to 1,
that
you know.
morning, if they show up, I help them, but that morning hour, I'm just getting paperwork done and I'm trying to get stuff done. So even though I do unlock the door, sometimes I even unlock it at 7:30, because if I'm already here, I unlock it. But I was not advertising 8 o'clock, because that
Right,
first
yeah.
hour, I get paperwork done, and then 9 to 1, people come in.
but advertising 9 to 1, you're telling people you're not open until 9 to 1, not 8 to 1. There's a big difference there, and
Right.
The message out there is 9 to 1.
And that's
So,
generally when
and
they're
that's not
coming.
fair,
Some
that's
people
just
show
not
up
fair.
a little early because they don't really
Yep.
read the hours anywhere. And they'll show up a little bit earlier, but I put the hours out there for 9 to 1. Because my other thing that I had explained, I don't know if it was just to Wendy or if I sent the message to everybody, that what I was trying to do was to stay with some core hours so that they didn't have to keep changing. So that if I happen to be sick, or I have an appointment, or I decide to possibly take a vacation, then I'm not gonna be here at 8. So I know that my deputy, I have her scheduled 9 to 1. So, and if she's not here, then my thought process was to be here till 1, but that's not, I don't have that ability right now.
But you were elected to be here.
I was elected to do a job.
No, you were elected, when they elected you with an office, and this was the office, not at home.
Right, when they
And not for
elected
the
me.
deputy, but for
Yeah.
you.
And again, John, that is your opinion, and I
Well,
respect your opinion,
Yeah,
but they elected me to be a town clerk, to do the job of the town clerk. I do that job. I do it very well, and it gets done.
And the salary was based on a 40-hour position.
No, the town clerk is not an hourly position. The salary is based on the job.
Well, then I want to know
I've
why
never-
the retirement considers you as a full-time town clerk that works 40 hours a week.
Because that's what a town clerk is considered.
So it's a 40-hour-a-week
No, they're
position.
considered, no, not 40, they're considered full-time.
They're considered full-time because you send a calendar in that states you work 8 hours a day. Now, that changed back in, I want to say 2022 or 23, you started taking Fridays off.
And I was
And
working
you
from home.
never changed your thing.
No, because I was working from home.
That's
Still
what you
putting
told
in the
us, but
hours.
you did sub a few days at school while you were working from home.
Yeah, I had half days.
And
Subbed a couple
now
of
you're
half
working
days.
from home at night, and I
Yep.
believe Sarah texted you one night and never got a response for a job description for an interview. Am I
Yes, I-
correct?
I'd have to check.
I did. I communicated back and forth with her and told her that by the end of the day, there was a portion of the description, because we had changed it, and I was trying to track down, so I contacted personnel over at county.
Well, my thing is, I think you have to prove to the taxpayers that if you're claiming 40 hours on your calendar, you have to have a log of everything you have documented on your retirement to prove to the taxpayers. Because you're saying you're taking appointments. What if there is no appointments? You're still
Then I'm at
claiming,
home.
you're still claiming 40 hours of retirement, and that's not fair to the taxpayers.
I have other work to do as well, not just the appointments. I have.
That's
other
why
work
I
that do.
think the board should make a motion to
Like I said, COVID's
document.
over, work should be done in the office.
So,
So
and then,
for the record, I texted Debbie about the description on May 22nd at 6:15 PM, and she texted me back May 23rd at 9 AM.
okay. So you didn't text her that night while you were working at home?
I mean, if I missed one text message, I apologize. I was texting.
Well,
with you
that's
up until
what I'm.
Almost 8 o'clock one night.
What I'm telling you is that's why I want you guys to think about this. Do you want me to move it forward? Because we can dictate what the clerk's office hours will be. We can make a local law. We can set those dictated hours. She does not have to be there, but we can make arrangements to have those hours fulfilled by, we have another, I went to personnel today, we do have another slot for another deputy clerk.
And all we're doing is spending money on deputies that we don't choose.
We're spending
But
on
that's not
money
fair to the
that's,
taxpayers.
it's not fair to the taxpayers.
We have.
But maybe since these hours have been cut so many times and people seem to be adapting, maybe we need to cut the hours of the town clerk and the salary and make it a smaller 3-day-a-week job, whatever. That's why I want you to think about this. If we're gonna do this, we need to do it, because not only we give her health insurance, and according to our personnel policy, it's for full-time. And New York State recognizes her, because of her calendar, that she works full-time.
I don't believe that was just because of my calendar. When I spoke with Joan, she said it is because.
That's what you've been
Town clerk.
reporting for 12 years, Deb. 13 now. So I'm still looking into the retirement, because now I have found out we've got that letter from you, that email that you are no longer available. You came to me privately and took a job at the county.
Mhm.
And I think it's deceitful to the taxpayer that you knew you were going to get this job at the county and you didn't bring it up at last board member meeting. Because I have the minutes from the county when they hired you.
Yeah, I wasn't being deceitful at all. My personal life outside of this town is mine. I mean,
But we pay you $45,000 to be a town clerk for the residents of this town.
and I
We
do
pay
my
you
job.
$1,002 to be the vital statistics and the licensing and marriage license. And when they can only get, what is that, 4 hours a day? I don't think it's fair to the people.
I've been in here to do marriage licenses for the last 2 weekends, on Saturday, Sunday, and I came in on Monday because that was a special day to a couple, the holiday.
Well, I'm not gonna
So-
argue with you. Everything's
Right,
changing.
right.
Everything's
It
changing.
is
So
changing,
we
but I
need to
do still
decide
put in the hours.
on, if you want me to call the lawyer, we make a local law, we do a public hearing, and we set the town clerk's office. We do have room to hire another deputy if we feel that we should, but I think we should only do that because if we cut this town clerk's salary, we have to do it by a mandatory referendum and it has to be put in the ballot and we have to have it in Shenango County on August 7th.
But if you're not cutting this job, how are you cutting the salary? The salary is for a job to be done.
The salary,
job is still
the
being
salary was based on every town clerk that ever worked here, worked 9 to 5. And that's what that salary was based on. I would break it down to see what that works out an hour, how many hours you're gonna be here for the people. And we do an estimate of how many appointments you have, if we knew a record of how many times you're coming in and leaving, how much work you're doing at home, because we have no record of what you're doing at home. And we average it out. And maybe we don't need to be open 5 days a week. I mean, the village had the problem and now they're gonna be open, I believe, till 5 now. It's just not fair for somebody that has to take off work. Because they either have to take off in the morning, well, they gotta take off in the morning, they have no evening chance.
Gotta be.
Right.
Yeah, to come in, because we don't have anybody else here, because the deputy also works, because you said she's still being trained to what she should be fully trained and can be
She's-
left here by herself.
She's pretty well trained and her hours are 9 to 1.
Yeah, but they should be, if you're here 9 to 1, she should be
She should be
here
also
so
some
we
other
can
time.
keep the
Right.
office hours later.
Right.
I feel, but that's my opinion, that's not up to me.
That's it.
So I need to know if I can have a motion to have the lawyer make a local law. And I need you guys to think about what we're gonna do. I mean, I don't know if he puts the hours in the local law or if we just make it local. So, and then we worry about the hours, I have to email him back. But he told me to bring it up and get your guys' permission to do, I wasn't gonna do it and pay him without
I mean,
talking to
I don't-
everybody.
I don't mind the local law, but I'm not gonna hire another deputy. I mean, like, yeah, the deputy now is doing her hours in here, so.
Okay, and then I need a motion if you wanna go with the local law, we'll set it up. We may have to have a special board meeting but I don't know, I don't think we will. We can do it, the local law, introduce it next month. In August, you have the public hearing, or maybe we can do both and have a special meeting, I don't care either way. So,
I'll move it.
John, motion to get the local law. I need a second.
I'll second.
Sarah.
We wanna work out how many hours we wanna have the office open.
Yeah, we need to, I'll ask him that stuff, so we might have to do a workshop and figure it out. Maybe we don't need it, all this. Maybe we can save the taxpayers money.
Yep.
And, because a lot of towns don't even have deputies. They just have their tax thing, they come in the 3 or 4 hours in the morning, they do a Saturday, a couple hours on Saturday, they do 3 days a week, but they don't pay what we're paying. They're paying like 20,000.
Well, we're just talking about having a draft of
Local law for the hours.
So,
Okay, the next one.
are we all in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next one is the mandatory referendum. If we do it, we have to get it, a local law made, and we have to ask the public and tell them why we're changing the town clerk's salary, and we have to have it on the vote, and it has to be in. So we have to have another local law made, and we have to have in by the Board of Elections by the 7th, the proposition.
By when, July 7th?
August
August
7th. So we have to do the public hearing, has to be put in the paper, and the local law. So we might have to do them both and have a special meeting, do both of them, do a public meeting. So I need a motion if you want me to go forward and figure that out.
I'll
A second.
We're gonna have to have a couple meetings.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a couple workshops, figure out what,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe start asking the town people what they want for hours.
Good.
Like, if do they,
Right, yeah, I mean, that would be good.
talk around and see what people
All I
would like.
know they want to know, is that, hours that are there every day, not on a weekend or.
And a lot of towns, Roy, you've said it before, not all town clerks work 9 to 5. They're not,
No, they don't. I
these
know.
offices are
I
not.
know they do.
We were an exception to the rule. But I just
All the
don't-
work
I
is
don't think it's fair.
weekdays.
And I probably can honestly say that office hours will be changing again on October 13th, won't they, Deb?
I don't know.
I would say.
I'd say you might have some knowledge since you went to county and talked about my retirement, the mandatory referendum, and my job here at the town.
I'm doing my job. I am here to protect the taxpayers' money. That is my job, to be fiscally sound.
Yep, and
I don't know how you
I
can
am
get
still getting my
20
job
hours
done.
of 20 hours at county, which is going to turn into a full-time position, October 13th, which you have not told this board or any of us that you never told the board you got a job. The first time you changed the hours in January, you never notified the board. Because I emailed all of you when I was at the hospital with my husband, did the office hours change? Did I miss something? And you never notified any of the board members. I'm willing to work with you, but you gotta be willing to work. So I'm assuming the office hours are gonna be
I am getting
Monday-
my job done.
Monday or Saturday and Sunday are the office hours gonna be? I don't know, but we gotta figure it out.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. All right. And I asked about your retirement because I don't think it's fair, because I don't know what tier you are, but if you're a tier 4, we pay 16% of your wages. These taxpayers pay 16% of your wages to the retirement. If you're tier 4, if you're a lower tier, it's less. But I don't think you working from home is working for these people. The people that you love your job. I don't think it's fair to them. And that's my job, is to make sure we're fiscally sound.
Right, but my job at the town isn't the county's business, and it wasn't really your responsibility to take
It is my
My
responsibility.
my,
I
part of
asked
the
how I
town
do the
over.
retirement. I asked how I do the retirement. I didn't know. I got an email. I wasn't even at the meeting that when they hired you or anything. I get all the things. I didn't know you were the one that got hired. How would I know? You're a number to me.
I came here and I told you out of respect, I wanted you to know before.
After
went to
you
the
sent,
county.
why didn't you respect all these board members? I'm just one. Why didn't you send it to all of them in your first initial text? I have other obligations. Why don't you say, I took a job at county?
Because that's not anyone's business. What I do outside of the town is not everybody's
You're
business.
right, you're right.
I don't
But
ask
it's my-
John how
it's-
many days he works
It's
at
my
his town
business, it's my
or you
business
go
to
down
make
before.
sure that the taxpayers do not overpay for retirement. I can't do anything about your salary unless I let them vote on it. I can't do anything about your office hours unless I make a local law. I can't do anything. You
I'm
can
not
come and
trying to
go as
pick
you
and poke
please.
at people, but I only found out accidentally that Sarah took a different job.
What?
I'm a board member.
But, and I'm a town clerk, why should I have to report to anybody if I take a second job?
Because you've
Well,
been
maybe
here
it's a
from
year,
9 to
remember?
5 for the last 12 years, or 8 to 3, or 8 to 4.
For 32 hours a week. So I'm
And-
already doing more work for the same amount of money because I'm having to make up for the 16 hours.
And you got a
I'm doing it.
$6,000 raise in 1 year that you still wouldn't be making what you're making today if we did not approve it. At the
Everyone got a
3%
very large
in-
raise. That was a good
At
raise.
the
everyone got.
3% increase, you still wouldn't be making what you're making today.
I know, everyone got a
End of
pretty big raise
discussion.
that year, not just me.
Okay,
You're
next.
the only elected one then.
Okay,
You guys
next.
got big raises.
2026 budget discussion. We need to start this because I will not be here at the September meeting and Roy will handle it. So, and if there's any changes after that, I'll be home in time to get it corrected and put it in. But I want to start working on budget hearing meetings and getting the budget under control. Okay? So, are you all in favor for that? Okay? All right. So I will give you some dates that will be available and we'll set up some night meetings after 6, right, Sarah?
Well, yeah, like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
5:30, 6 o'clock. And Wednesdays are not good for you? What night do you have your meeting?
I'll work around it. They can live without me. I make enough
Okay.
volunteer times there. that they can
Okay.
live with.
So I will try to get with all the department heads or as commissioners, if you can get to your department heads, see what they're looking.
Yeah, I've already
Yeah.
spoken to mine.
Okay, so we can get moving on that.
Yeah.
ARPA discussion. I just want to tell you the ARPA funds, Joan came in extra, we did that. we got an email that we did something wrong. So Joan had to drive from Norwich to come back, so the bill was a little bit higher. And we reported something wrong and we had to correct it. And it was such a pain in the butt, because that thing is a pain in the butt to get on. But
But
we
it's
took
done.
care, of it, it's done, we haven't heard anything else.
And hopefully we don't until we get a check.
Okay, the next thing on the ARPA, we still have funding that has to be spent, and I talked to Matt about that. So we'll have to get together. We still got to do the storage stuff for the thing. I think he needs to get a couple more Band-Aid collars he talked about, because he found a bigger pipe. And he will know, I think tomorrow he goes to the doctor, and he'll know about when he's gonna be able to come back. The next thing that Joan, I want to tell you with Joan, I can't remember the name of it, Debbie. My computer,
Go to my PC.
Go to my PC.
Go to my PC is, I guess, not safe. Joan's company had to switch to something else. I can't remember the name of it. I think she talked to you about
Yeah.
it. And she thinks that we should look into this to switch to that, to make sure we have a safer one, because,
That's what I was trying to get a quote from Computer VR, and that's when I found out that they're not gonna be able to because of the way the server and that stuff is set up back there. That's gonna have to be that other guy you might need to talk to. What is that called? It's not a LAN, it's called
I want to know.
it's called something, but it's a secure way to be able to,
Yeah, we have to get it
To dial in.
secure, because when Joan works or something, she can get into stuff, but it has to be a better thing. All right, the even year election guide. I got this email, the county's pretty sure that this is gonna stick. They, so John and April, you're up for reelection this year. If you win, your terms will only be 3 years instead. Yeah. My term will only be 1 year, and I'll have to run again if I decide for the following year. Okay, but the supervisor will be up again. And so that's how that's gonna go. And I just wanted you guys to know that. Okay, correspondence from anybody else? No. Motion to go into executive session. Now, we've got to talk about the union contract. I'm going in for police, for personnel things I got to talk to you guys about, and we're going in for Millbrook. So Connie, can we just get settled and I'll yell down to get you? Okay, and then,
I'll make a motion.
okay,
Maybe.
38. I'll second.
John and Sarah. Okay,
Thank you all.
yeah, thanks. Okay, we can that, and all this stuff.
Why do you want
I have one
question?
Next up. You just read it, so you have 4 years.
Two things.
Yeah,
I was looking at village codes recently.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, I
No.
stumbled across
So
the
we got
dog law.
back in the house.
So I have it for the village,
We-
and
we-
also one of my clients
Yeah,
I've worked with for 5 years on drug prevention programs, and they have a life jacket loan grant that's closed out, and I'm emailing that to you, right?
Oh, thank you. We're not going to compare it to what we have in our local
Well,
law.
it seems like it's.
Yeah, there's no fine. There's no fine the village has, but I have the language, and also, like, the village code is, I don't know if the village, or town rather, if you're still paying general code to send your minutes in.
Yes.
You still are,
Yes.
excellent, because the village hasn't done that since 1994.
No, we just had to pay a big amount of money to
Yeah.
get the
Yeah,
law.
and they,
It isn't like it used to be.
their codes are
Nothing is
kept
like it used
in
to
a
be.
couple of paper boxes and PDF files
And I'll tell
scattered
you,
about,
John,
and,
No, we got new
So,
codes. It
yeah.
costs us a lot.
Oh,
We got
yeah.
them all up.
yeah, no, and it's gonna be like $16,000 for them to do it, but
Yeah.
Well.
they
Yeah.
don't, it's not a priority for them. So, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep, good night.
I emailed the executive director and consultant manager for SPCA.
You
So this way, I
You're
go
there
everything
for
this
us. You're
way.
that uncomfortable,
They'll
all
see that
nine
as a
one one.
high priority.
Well, good luck.
So hopefully they get a little.
Are you going now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good night.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.
She is, she's moving along, still
She told me her last night.
good days, bad days. It's a process. I mean,
This is almost 2 years.
I know, but you gotta remember, it's debilitating. Some people are in wheelchairs for the rest of their life. Some people total, she had some paralysis in the beginning, but all the treatments worked. So now it's just the point where your nervous system has to regenerate. As you get older, it takes longer to